my shorts.
Struggling. I missed the cue. A bit rusty. I'm a bit rusty. We've been gone for 5 weeks. I don't know if I remember how to do this. Let's see.
We'll struggle.
Yeah, we're going to struggle, but it's like I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to make up some analogy about getting back on a bike, but you remember.
Yeah, you always remember how to get on a bike.
Anyway. Hello, everybody!
G'day!
Welcome to the Dave Lee Down Under podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Dave Lee.
And I'm not.
He's not. He is. Old mate Rick is back with us. Whoops, wrong one. Applause, that's what we want, not laughter. Welcome back! Oh,
g'day!
Old mate Rick, this is his first show back since you skipped
mid-December. There was a couple I missed at the end.
You skipped a couple at the end. But we are, of course, back for 2021. Happy New Year, everybody! Happy New Year! Oh my Lord, we are into February now.
Almost feels a bit late to be wishing people Happy New Year.
I know. What's the cut-off point where you stop wishing people a Happy New Year? Probably February.
Oh, I reckon end of January. Yeah.
End of January. Well,
so we make it by a couple of days.
We're into Feb. Well, actually, right now, as we record this, it's a Friday afternoon. It's the 29th of Jan, but this will be going out on February 1st.
Oh.
But if the patrons are listening to it,
Happy
2 days
New Year
early,
to patrons only. No one else.
Yeah. Because they'll be getting it, bang on last day.
Yep.
Last day of January. Happy New Year, patrons. To everyone else.
Yeah.
Anyway, as always, you can join me on the podcast every single Monday. It goes out on all podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Audible. We've sorted all that out now, finally. We're into Season 2. And we've got all the podcasting platforms sorted out, which is beautiful. The visual element goes out on YouTube at the same time as it goes out on the podcasting platforms. But if you're a patron supporter, you get it 2 days early on the Saturday. So if you'd like to get your early access to the Patreon, you can go and support me for as little as $1 a month.
Cheapskate.
No locking. The old jokes are back. It's a new year, but the old jokes are still
man, what do you expect?
Here.
Old man, old jokes.
Yeah, if you can support me for $1 a month, as little as $1 a month, and there's no lock-in contracts or anything like that. It's a great system. Great system. I've locked out, because there was that point where people were doing the, what was it called? Patron, I forgot what it's called. Oh no, they sign up to your Patreon and then they cancel it. They get all the perks and then they cancel before they've had to pay. Patron... Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. I've gone blocked. But anyway, there's a lot of people doing that, and I had to implement this thing. The music stopped. I had to implement this thing where you have to pay up front now. Anyway, I've gone on like a tangent. This is a 4-minute intro already, and I'm not even finished the intro. You can find me on YouTube at Dave Lee Down Under, over on Twitter, Instagram, links in the description of every single podcast. Click through. You're straight there. If you want to write into the show, you can shoot an email to daveleepod@gmail.com. No one does. No one uses that email. I think I've had one email on there. The best place. People always just get me on Twitter and Instagram and all that. But you've got so many avenues you can reach in and message in and say hi. Just say g'day, and we'll read your messages out on here. If you are listening on podcast platforms, you can leave a review and a rating. It does help. Please do that if you can. We have had quite a few flooding over the holidays, which is fantastic. So we did take a bit of a break. I took a break over for a month between, the last show was just before Christmas until now, February. So I did say on the last show I was taking 2 weeks off. I got lazy. And I was enjoying my time off.
A month.
I was enjoying my time off just far too much.
I needed the break, though.
I needed the break, and I'm feeling refreshed. I'm excited. We're back. And we've kind of been thinking, we thought, you know what, mid-Jan, we'll get back into it. And then it got to 2 weeks ago. I was like, we're going to record it this week. And I thought, no.
I always thought it was going to be the end of January, early Feb anyway.
I think I did anyway. But I was thinking, we're going to get in the podcast this week. And then I just thought, no, I can't be bothered. And then last week I was like, we're going to do it. No, I can't do stuff. And then
we're going to record this one earlier this week when
we were, yeah.
But, stuff it.
Well, because I've had this all set up since Monday. Well, I had the desk and stuff because I did another podcast. I was over with Tessa at Mama's Geeky on YouTube. Had a great lot of us content creators, YouTubers were on there talking WandaVision theories and stuff. It was great fun. So I set up everything to do that, and we were like, yeah, we're going to record the podcast on Tuesday and get the table out of the cinema room. And then I was like, I can't be bothered doing it today. Then Wednesday came, like, he was going to do it today, and then something happened, like some trailer came. I had to do that Raya and the Last Dragon trailer breakdown. And then I thought, that took me all day, and then we thought, do it Thursday. Got to Thursday. He couldn't be bothered. And I had a nice nana nap in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, but we're here. None of this makes any difference to those listening out there.
No, exactly.
Because you're getting on the same day.
Just you speaking shit again.
Just me speaking crap. And look, 6 minutes in, I'm rambling. But we have had lots of new followers on the podcast and on the YouTube. Kind of on the back of the Mr. Sunday Movies episode, because that was the last show we had.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was really good.
So great.
I was here watching, but
yeah,
just didn't take part. That's all.
Yeah, we only had two microphones.
Well, I was not so much that. I mean,
no,
I was just playing with the camera and making sure that was focusing and doing all sort of shit. But he was great. He was really good.
Amazing.
Good fella. Really good fella.
Yeah. He's he's fantastic. It was great. He came into the studio, was doing the show in here with the studio if you watched it and whatever else, and wonderful, wonderful guy. And he is a patron supporter, and he listens to every episode and all that. Apparently, his knowledge of the podcast was fantastic. Yeah. So he definitely does listen. And if you are listening out there, hello, thank you for joining me. And but a lot of people did jump on from the back of that. I got a lot of comments like, oh, I listened to the the podcast with James, and I thought it was really great. So I've jumped on now. I'll be listening. So hello to everyone, all the new people out there who jumped. And literally, like, a lot of people have jumped on. Yeah. Like I've been able to see the stats and like how many people have signed up, which is awesome. So hello, welcome.
Hopefully we can keep you engaged.
Hopefully. Well, I've been trying to keep them. I did the last 4 episodes were like I won't call them best of, but like highlight shows of the first season, which I thought was probably a good idea to do because I kind of had this existential debate where I was like, oh, well, I've just had James on. There's a lot of people have just come in off the back of that, and that's the last episode of the season. Yeah. So they'll subscribe, and then I'm silent.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to just try and pad out some content.
And January is a good time to take off too, because
exactly right. Yeah, because
people aren't listening.
People aren't listening. People aren't watching. Pay is down and everything.
Money's right.
Money's like 65% down on YouTube at the moment. It's nuts.
Probably more than that even.
No, I looked this morning, 65, but we'll see what happens at the end of the month. It will probably be down to at least,
I reckon, 70%. We'll go down another 5.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, I did like those highlight shows because I thought, that's going to give these people, like all these new listener subscribers out there, something to tie them over and make it look like I've not just gone silent, like radio silence for a month. But I did get a few comments from people who were like, I've gone back to episode 1. I'm listening right through.
Oh, that's good.
And like the 4 or 5 week break has given them a chance to catch up, which is awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you've been listening and you're new and everything.
And the week before, James, you had a couple of
yes,
guys
I had
well.
Austin Burke and 3C Films was on as well. Chris Parker from 3C Films. They were great. I got a lot of listeners and stuff out of that one as well. So they
seem like a really nice young blokes as well.
They are fantastic. I love them. They are these people are some of my favourites in the movie space on YouTube at the moment, content creators, and I'm going to get a lot more of my favourites on this year as well, which I'm very excited for. And
less of me and more of them.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But you'll be here. You'll be here. But the idea behind the show, from the beginning was we'd get like a rotating roster of people on. But the whole COVID thing kind of just put a stop to that sort of.
Oh yeah, that was But we're doing well in Melbourne.
We're
now.
doing good. Yes, we are doing.
In fact,
good.
In Australia, we're doing really well.
We are doing very well in Australia, which is fantastic. Yeah. We kind of
apart from political fighting between the states.
Oh Lord, that's always going to happen.
That's a load of bullshit.
That's always going to happen. Not a lot has changed since we recorded the last show. I was actually going to say that at the top of this show that this is this is season 2, episode 1. This is our 17th episode, which is crazy. Technically, 18 episodes if we include the pilot. And then if you want to incorporate like the 4 highlight shows, we're on like episode 22. So it gets a little bit more confusing each and every week. Not much has changed. It's episode 17. Episode 17. And not much has changed since episode 17. Like you said, we're doing well here in Melbourne. we've slowly been getting back to normal after this COVID thing.
Majority of people are back at work. And all schools have gone back. And
shopping centres are open.
Yeah, well, they've been open for a while.
Yeah.
And you really don't have to wear masks anymore apart from supermarkets and shopping centres.
I was in the post office the other day wearing my mask. I saw some guy come in, stand next to me without a mask. I was thinking, this guy's come in without a mask, being a jerk, whatever. And the lady behind the counter must have seen me looking at the guy because she turned to me and she said, you don't have to wear a mask in here. I was like, oh, what? She's like, oh, you don't have to wear a mask. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, that's only big shops. It's like if you're in a shopping centre, your shopping centre or like a supermarket, you got to wear a mask. But like in a small store, you don't have to wear a mask. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Well, I've noticed a lot of the takeaway places aren't wearing them now. Yeah, like McDonald's and places like that are, but the smaller, noodle places and stuff like that, some of those aren't wearing masks or anything anymore. And, walk the streets without masks on, which is nice. When we go for a nice walk in 35-degree heat, it's
nice to go for a walk without a mask.
It's nice not to have the mask on.
Yeah. But I missed that. I must have missed that memo, which is only big stores. I walked in and I was like, wearing my mask. It's probably still a good thing to just take the precautions and stuff, but just assess the situation.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it depends on how many people are in there and all those sorts of things, whether I'll put one on or not. But of course, as you said, shopping centres and supermarkets and Bunnings, which is a big chain of hardware stores here in Australia. You've got to wear them at places like that, like the big retailers. You've still got to wear them. And in fact, went out shopping the other day with your mother, and we bought to buy a new sofa.
Yeah, I should say actually for the new listeners, because everyone always asks, old mate Rick is my father.
Yeah. I'm the old man.
A lot of people
That's why I'm old man. Old man Rick.
Who's this old guy? There you go, my father. Anyway,
old man.
Continue when shopping.
So we went and bought a new sofa for
front room.
The front room, which is we were sort of redoing as an office.
Yeah.
Most of the staff weren't wearing them, and most people in there weren't wearing masks and stuff like that. And that was not a big retailer, but it's a reasonable. It's a chain store, but so didn't feel too bad about not wearing one, which is nice.
Well, what is it? I think as of yesterday, 3 weeks we haven't had a case in the community.
Yeah. Well, we had a run of what was it? About 80 days. About 80 days straight, or 80-something days straight with no community transfer, and then some fucking flog
come from New
South Wales, because they had a minor outbreak up there,
in Sydney.
Some moron from up in. I think were they Victorian and went up to.
Yeah, they
I think
were,
they were Victorian and went up to New South Wales and then brought it back. And there was a bit of a fear that was going to be a bit of a breakout, but the government jumped on that straight away really and quickly. Squashed it real quick.
Yeah.
And we've had it. We've got a few active cases still, I think, or no.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But we have had a few, but they've all been in the
because we've got the Tennessee, the Australian Open. So a lot of the ones that are coming in are either the cases we're getting at the moment are either returned Australian travellers or they're on the tennis circuit, and they're all been quarantined, 14-day quarantine, and sometimes a little bit longer. In fact, there was that one female tennis player who came out and she was bagging really having to go at the government in Australia about the quarantine and all that sort of stuff. 3 days later, she tested positive, and then she had to backtrack and apologise and say that it was a really good idea, this quarantine. And
haven't heard anything from any of those tennis players since, because they all came out and there was heaps of them just taking to social media. It's like we're in prison, and one of them's going, I've never had to do my own hair in my life, and now I have to do my own hair. That was Tomic.
Bernard Tomic's girlfriend.
Oh Lord!
What a moron!
Yeah, it's just crazy. And they were all kind of coming out, and then like, why we have to go out and practice and stuff, which is you understand why they want to get out and practice, but then they're going, it's like we're in prison, all this stuff, and then like 2 days later, this one lady tests positive, and they all just kind of just shut up.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's exactly why they were quarantined. Yeah. So since that minor little outbreak we had, there's what did you say it was 3 weeks?
I think 3 weeks. Yeah.
about 3 weeks of no community transfer, which is good. Good again, which is great. So let's hope we keep going down that path.
Hopefully we keep there. Of course, it's still going rampant other places around the world, and we do feel a lot of sympathy for you guys out there who are stuck in places like the US or the UK.
Well, UK, where your girlfriend is.
Yeah.
Of course, she can't get back into Australia because she's not an Australian citizen. But you can go there because you're dual citizen. But
it's a disaster zone.
Well, so what are they up to now? Because it was 1,800 deaths a day last week, wasn't it?
That. Didn't they just cross over? I can't remember.
I think they just crossed over 100,000, didn't
deaths,
they?
Yeah.
That is just tragic, absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
But,
The vaccine's rolling out, though, which is good. So hopefully that's going to squash it and at least slow down the spread. Did you see the legend himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, went and got a vaccine? We got a little clip here that we can play.
That was hilarious.
Put that needle down.
All done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, I just got my vaccine, and I will recommend it to anyone and everyone. Come with me if you want to live.
Good on you.
Brilliant.
Good on you, Schwartzy.
Good on him. That's
fantastic.
Great. I was actually really surprised by the Jingle All the Way reference. I didn't think that would be like...
What was that one? I didn't get that one.
Put that needle down. Put that cookie down. Jingle All the Way. Put that cookie down. Now. I was very surprised he did a Jingle All the Way reference. But I guess that's like a cult classic now. It's one of my favourites. Watch it every Christmas.
Every year we watch that one. It's a good one.
But
enjoy that.
Yeah, so that was quite funny. But so that's going around. Luckily, the vaccine's out there. We're getting the vaccine here in Australia. They're going to start rolling it out. They reckon
mid next month. Mid to late next month starts.
Well, this month for those listening out there, February.
Yeah, that's right.
So mid-Feb, and I think they said they're going to have the whole population, or those who want it, by like October. Crazy. So it's going to be that's all good. So hopefully, we'll see this thing kind of get squashed. America has a new president since we left. There's a whole lot of just stuff that happened over in America.
That's all over and done with.
Man, just like we're not going to we don't get political on the show really, but just the stuff that went on over in America in this brief space that we took of a break. The insurgency at the Capitol, and then just the ramifications from that, crazy stuff, and then. Of course, Biden's in now as the president, so America's got a new president. And first day in, he's putting in his COVID plan and all that stuff, which is he got in office and apparently there was no plan left by Trump.
Oh, really?
Apparently, there was nothing. So they've had to. So luckily, that's all going. Again, we're not going to get too political here, but yeah, hopefully things are going to start getting a bit better around the world, starting now. Which is
let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
As I said, we start our vaccinations here in mid to late Feb, and that's all the healthcare workers, I think, first.
And then the elderly.
First line.
And then you after the elderly, so the 50, like over 50.
You don't class me as elderly. Oh.
No, you're lucky you're just that next tier down.
Middle, young elderly.
Yeah. And then there's like myself and then whatever else under that. So, yeah. So it should be good. The time off, of course, hasn't been without its own disaster stories on our end. There's always disasters going on with like couriers and stuff like that here. People love to hear about these stories. Basically, me just having a moan about trivial things. We had a JB Hi-Fi Boxing Day disaster. I'm going to call it. I went and said they had a deal on which was like buy two get one free on like family titles. I think that was the deal. Which essentially came to like $7 a title or something like that. I can't remember. I got a bunch of stuff. I went through, and the girl behind the counter was having like trouble like ringing it through. And then I was thinking, what's happening here? And she sorted it out and put it all through and rang it through. And then when I left, I kind of thought, I think I paid too much. So I've looked back over the thing, and it was like $8 more I'd paid than I should have. And I thought I would go back and try and sort it out. I went back in. And they took ages, like 10, 15 minutes, trying to sort out what had gone wrong. And they eventually got it sorted, and I got like my money back.
As nice as the stuff are at this particular
Yeah.
JB. They don't think it was a brain surgeon amongst them.
Yeah, I know. They were just kind of trying to figure out what's going on.
It wasn't
here,
hard
what's
to
going
work
on.
out.
So anyway, I got my money back, and then I got home and I realized one of the discs that I bought I already had.
That's right.
Now, usually I'll check the app on the phone to see if I've got something. I didn't on this because I was sure I didn't have it.
Because we got an app.
Yeah.
We got an app that we catalogue all of our stuff on.
Yeah.
So that we know, because we have so many of them, we just
Yeah.
need to keep track of what we, and it's good for people like me who
Yeah. Always,
can't
always forget.
remember what the hell we've got and what we don't have.
Yeah.
So I can sort of just check when I'm going through, and I try not to go through without you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got a
Well,
bit of-
I'm
bit of
usually
involved.
I usually know what we have and what we don't, but
Maybe it's a sign of getting old, Dave.
well, maybe I know there's a lot of things going on. I'm pushing 30 this year.
No, you're not pushing through.
I am 30 this year. I'm pushing 30 right now until my birthday mid-year. But yeah, so I kind of usually I'm switched on. I know what's going on, and I will check the app if I'm uncertain about something. But this title, I was certain I didn't have it, so I grabbed it. I got home. I was like, damn it. So we went back to a different store the next day because we needed to go to the other shopping center for some reason. So I thought I'll just take this back to this store. I took it up to the counter. I was like, all I want to do is I want to swap this disc over for this disc, and because this one I wanted to swap it over for was a little bit more expensive, I just want to swap these two over and pay the extra like
$1.70
something that it was. And it just said, just I want to send this back and I'll pay the extra for you to swap this over. The guy was like, I don't understand what you're asking. I said, okay, I'm returning this and I want to get this one, but because this one's more expensive, I will pay the extra to swap it over. I'll have to get the manager. The manager comes over. The manager doesn't know what the hell I'm going on about. And he's like, I see you've already had a refund on this order. I said, yes, because they stuffed up at the till at the other store. And he says, oh, yeah, well, I think you've already won out of this transaction. I think you've come out, $8 more than you should have. It looks like you. I was like, no. They stuffed up at the other end. And all I want to do now is swap this disc for this one and pay like the extra $1 something. And they didn't understand it.
No,
and it went on for
not
ages
at
and ages. The manager pulled us to the side. I'm not one to want to cause a scene or anything in a store. And we just kind of went to
And
the
it was only like $7 or something, wasn't it?
It was
so
like
it wasn't,
so-
it wasn't
just
going to
so
break
small.
the bank
Exactly
or anything,
right, but for me-
it got to a point like, fuck this, we're going to fix
Well,
this.
yeah, exactly.
Got to sort this out.
We kind of went around in circles and he's trying to explain the system to me, how it works. I'm like, I understand the system. I understand how this works. Buy two, get one free, whatever. I said, well, all I want to do is swap this for this one and pay you the extra money. I will give you the extra money to just swap it over. And he's like, I don't understand what you're trying to say. You've already got this disc. You've already got the refund. And I just said, you know what? I can't be bothered with this. I'm going. I was like, I'll take this. I'll sort it out. And we're about to leave. And I thought, you know what? Stuff it. Yeah. It just said, it got to a point where I was like, I've been here long enough. It's probably taken 20, 30 minutes by this point.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly
like,
right.
on principle, I want to just
Because
get this sorted.
he was almost accusing us of trying to rip them off.
Oh yeah,
and that's what he was
and
doing.
then it was getting really.
And I thought, enough.
I don't get annoyed. Well, I get annoyed a lot, but I don't get like fired up that often. But I was starting to just get a little agitated, and I didn't want to I don't want to be rude or mean or anything to a store assistant. I've worked in retail. I know what it's like, but to know that all I wanted to do was swap this over and just give you a couple of extra bucks, but then getting almost like accused of, it's just sort of, you've already won out of this transaction, we've given you money. I was like, that's not the point. Anyway, so I was like, I'm going to figure it out on the website, what the cost of the thing should have been so I can show him what I'm talking about. So I did that, took like 10, 15 minutes, and then I showed the guy and he's like, I think he finally understood what I was trying to say. And then went over to the computer. He's like, let's just ring this in. He's like, let's just do a mock kind of thing in the system to see what it all comes up with. And he put it all in and he's like, oh no, you were charged the correct amount. I was like, but I wasn't. I wasn't charged the correct amount. And he's looking through it. He's like, oh, I see what's happened. He said, one of the items you have bought wasn't part of the buy two, get one free. The
right.
movie was... But this specific edition of it wasn't. The only difference in this edition was it had a different cover.
Yeah, that was the JB exclusive.
The JB
one they
exclusive,
gave but they had that marked as part of.
At the other store they had the sticker on it, so I didn't know. I just picked up the one that had the sticker.
Yeah.
So that's what initially caused the stuff up at the till where something didn't go through, and then whatever. I went back, I got the refund, and then I went to this second store, and that's why they got confused. Was like, no, you have paid the right amount because you've got this title. Anyway, it got to a point where the guy's saying, oh, well, you've actually won out of this transaction because you got the more expensive title for the price of the other title. I'm thinking, but it's exactly the same bloody thing with a different cover. He's like, oh, no, there's different special features on there, so you've got more content for the lesser. I was like, no, it's just a different cover.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the end, he was like, oh, well, you know what you can do? I said, oh, well, what can I do? I said, all I want to do is return this and pay extra for this. Oh, because initially they had tried to charge me like an extra $20 for the disc. I was like,
That's
no,
right.
there
Yeah,
shouldn't be
yeah,
that much.
that's
It should
right.
only be like a couple of dollars. So he was like, well, at the end, he's kind of like, well, what you can do is you can swap that in and pay the extra, or you can just return that item and I'll refund you for what you have paid for that item. I said, done, do that.
Yeah.
I don't even care about this other title.
So in the end, he really softened and realised,
Yeah.
shit,
I see.
we've-
So it's
we've
been a
fucked up,
bit of a cock up.
Yeah.
Like
And realised that it was their stuff up.
Yeah.
And we were right.
Had I not picked up,
Thank Christ.
had I not picked up something that, had I not bought something that I'd already bought, I could
And
have
that-
avoided it all.
And that one that you took back, that was one they put through as the
Yeah, they put that through as the
free one
freebie.
as well.
Oh, geez, I'm
so
telling
that
the story all
didn't,
over.
that didn't
Yeah,
help
that didn't
either.
help it. Yeah, because when I went back, that was the one they had refunded
Yeah, that's right.
on when
Yeah.
that wasn't the disc that was the issue to begin with, but
No.
because they couldn't figure out how to do it, they just
Yeah.
refunded on that one. So it was just bad luck. It was just such bad luck that this one title I wanted to return, they'd refunded and they couldn't. Anyway, I just sent that one back. I was like, you know what, take this one back. They gave me like whatever else refund back, and I essentially got like two for or 3 for 2. What's that? The deal? Buy 2 get 1 free.
Yeah,
I got 2 for the buy 2 get 1 free
price
without having to pay extra for the third
Yeah,
one.
that's
Anyway,
right.
so anyway, it's just one of those things that is just around and around in circles. It took about an hour in the end. Kicker of it all was that because we were there so long, we had to pay for parking.
Yeah, well, that pissed me off too because
yeah.
that particular shopping centre,
Yeah.
it used to be free parking, and then they did an upgrade and they put paid
Yeah.
parking in.
Yeah,
Talking
talking years ago.
Yeah, years ago. And then during COVID, we were all locked down and everything else. It was 3 hours. The first 3 hours was free, and then you paid after that. Go back to the shopping centre, and now it's 2 hours free.
Well, over COVID, just before, like when they first started opening, it was free parking.
It was free
completely
parking.
free.
Yeah, exactly right.
So they softened the blow off a little
Yeah.
bit, and then like a couple of
It
weeks
was free
after,
parking because you couldn't fucking go to the shopping centre.
exactly right. But then a couple of weeks after, once everything opened up properly, they jacked the prices up.
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of places have been doing this after
Yeah.
COVID. They've been jacking the prices up and you're hoping you don't realise.
Well, there was one local grocer
yeah.
who
That's right, yeah.
who was just absolutely ripping people off. And a friend of mine had gone to this. Well, he used this grocer all the time and knew what it sort of cost him, and he came out paying almost double.
Worst.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
Mum went and got her hair
horrendous.
done and got done with the COVID tax.
Yeah.
And they specifically said,
And-
it's a COVID tax.
Yeah. She got charged $400 to get her hair done when
Christ.
she normally paid, I think, $210 or $215 or something.
Almost double.
And it's gone back and they've charged her $400. And she said, "So what's this? It's COVID tax." Oh yeah, basically, and we've got to make up for the time we were closed.
Yeah.
So she's just gone off tap and had a go at them. Finished up. She said, "Well, I won't be back." And she hasn't been back. She's had 2 haircuts since.
Yeah.
Gone to a different hairdresser. The haircut's no different, no better, no worse.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably better. And she's paying about. Was she paying $120 last week? Last week.
Nuts.
So just.
Yeah.
And that's just a couple of incidents. That's happening everywhere.
Everywhere. Hearing from a lot of people is that all these places just putting their prices up.
Although I went and got a haircut because I had all that
Yeah.
6 months of growth I had to get rid of, and I paid $25, and I thought,
Yeah.
I think that's cheap.
Yeah.
That was really cheap.
Yeah. Crazy.
Anyway,
We understand like small businesses and stuff have had a real hard time over COVID and all that, and trying to recoup costs and stuff. But it's when the bigger chains and stuff.
but even the small stores, what they've got to be careful of is not. Okay, you understand. It's been really tough on them, and I've got a small business as well, and
Yeah.
and I had no work the whole
Yeah.
time. for basically 8 or 9 months.
Yeah. I lost revenue.
Well, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So we've all been hit financially. But what they've got to be careful of is if they're starting to jack prices up, people are going to say, well, fuck you, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they'll lose business. They'll lose their business completely.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to realise that. And I reckon most do, but there's just a few that have taken advantage and thought, it's a good chance to sort of jack up a price. It's like going and buying a bag of potato chips and they've changed the picture on the front of the bag, and then you look and you think, oh, I'm paying the same price, but I've got 20 grams less.
Yeah, they change the picture so that it distracts you from the fact that you've got less item, or
for the same amount.
Or like chocolate companies will do it where they change change the packaging, and they'll either change the size of it or they'll change the recipe of it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And you don't. It's like it's like a psychological thing where it throws you off. Because, I don't know.
Well, Cadbury did that one.
That's
one
right,
point,
they did,
where they changed the recipe, and it was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
And they finished up going back to the original recipe.
Right, yeah.
VB were the same, the beer company. They changed their recipe.
Gosh.
And they crashed. They dived, and they thought, we'll go back to the original recipe. So they did. And I don't know if they've ever recovered, but so I don't drink that shit anyway.
Yeah. Ooh. We just had, this is going to be a test because it's been torrential rain all morning. Everything seems to be going all right. We just had like a massive flicker here. Oh, there we go again in the studio. I'm a bit worried about this because we've had torrential rain and really bad weather all morning. Seems to have stopped out there.
It's not raining now. No wind, no nothing.
But we're getting like flickering and stuff. So hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully we don't have like a power blackout in the middle of the podcast.
Well, it's still recording.
It's still recording. That's still going. We're all right for now. But let's get on with it. Over the break, we've continued to watch movies, of course. Let's get into talk about movies. We've been talking
that's
about
what it's all about.
Half an hour of catching up. That's fine. Of shit. Good. Yeah, a couple of guys talking shit, which is what it's all about, as well as the movies. So we've watched a lot of movies. I have watched, I didn't write it down, but let me get on my Letterboxd here. If you are a Letterboxd user, I'm on Letterboxd. You can go and find me over there. I put like a little review and a rating of every movie that I watch. As of today, I've watched 54 films this year already.
Jesus.
For the new viewers out there, for the new listeners, what I do is I get up quite early every morning, and before I get into work, I will watch.
Not so much the last few weeks.
Well, not so much the last few weeks. I've been on break. I've just been taking it easy. I've been a lazy boy. So what I'll do is I'll try and get up early or as early as I can and watch a movie before I get into work. And it's kind of a way to open my mind creatively before I get into doing some work. I feel it does free me a little bit. It makes me want to do stuff. But also, I've got a stack of just hundreds of movies I haven't watched that I'm just trying to power through. I got through how many movies? Oh, my Lord. I can't even remember. I'm on my Letterboxd right now. I'm going to have a look. Stats. I can tell you how many movies I watched in 2020. This will be interesting, actually. The internet's going a little bit slow. Maybe the internet's... No, here we go. I watched no, that's not correct. That cannot be correct. It was something like, it's not telling me now. Films watched. Is that correct? It must be correct. 565 films last year I watched, which is a crazy number. That's like 1,000 hours of films I watched last year. So there we go. So that was my watching last year. We'll see if we can beat it this year. I doubt it. But anyway, I've been back into it. I get up, I watch my movies in the morning, and then like in an evening, we'll sometimes watch a movie. Something's probably a bit newer. Stuff I watch in the morning is usually older stuff, like catalog titles that I'm just trying to get through. In the evening, it's usually something newer, something that's either like brand new or something that's maybe just a few years old, maybe
in the last 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years or so. As far as me watching catalogue titles, I've been really getting into the Jean-Claude Van Damme films. Oh, man, they are so bad. I've watched Hard Target,
awful.
Nowhere to Run, Kickboxer, and Universal Soldier so far.
You know, you're going to get slammed for that. We get slammed for that, saying they were awful, because there's people out there that love them.
But I love them. They are so shit, but I love them. Like Hard Target. This is the first JCVD film I'd ever watched. I bought it because it was cheap.
That's one we haven't watched, JCVD.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, that's the newer one, yeah. But apparently it's really good, though.
15 years old, probably.
Oh, yeah, probably. But apparently that's really good. But Hard Target, I picked it up, JB. It was like $6 or $7 or something. I thought, I'm going to get it. I'm just going to try out a JCVD film, see how it goes. And it was so bad. It's awful. I'm sitting there thinking this is one of the worst things I've ever seen, but I'm pissing myself laughing the whole time. The action is so bad. The one-liners are dreadful, and it's just the whole thing is just really bad. But I'm thinking I'm fucking loving this. It's so good. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, I have to go back and get more. I ended up buying like 3 or 4 other JCVD films. I'm powering through them at the moment. Nowhere to Run was the next one I watched. I thought it was actually quite good. Like the story in that was really good, but still, it's just silly action and stuff. Kickboxer, so stupid. Universal Soldier, more of a traditional kind of action thing, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed kind of all of them. They're terrible, but I love them. I kind of went through a period last year where I was trying to smash through like all the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sly Stallone films that I had in my collection that I hadn't yet watched. Stuff like Cobra and Eraser and all those kind of movies. And I'm loving them. I was loving them. So I was like, it's time to get into some JCVD. So anyway, I got into some JCVD and it's great. I'm trying to get my hands on...
Sorry about that. I just had to get up and turn the air conditioner back on because it's
get a bit stuffy.
That flicker.
I tried to cover it up by not mentioning it because the listeners wouldn't. Listeners even don't know. But there's guys out there listening anyway. So he's just going to.
Just had to get up.
So hot in here. It's
it's
like
getting really
humid.
hot, and I'm thinking, it feels like the air conditioner went off, and when we had the flicker of the power before, it's turned it off.
Oh really? Well,
so
there you go.
I had to go and reset it.
There you go. Might have been like a minor power out. That is nice. That is much nicer. Yeah. Because it's just really humid with this weather.
Sorry about that.
So anyway, that's the JCVD stuff. I'm trying to get my hands on another one. I can't remember what it's called, but it is available. I think it might be out of print. I'm trying to get my hands on it. I can't remember what it's called. But there's a ton of JCVD movies I need to get my hands on and watch. Bloodsport is another one, but it's not available here. I'll have to import that one. I watched a couple of... if you've been watching my videos, I went on like this. I was just trying to buy a bunch of back catalogue stuff recently that is like slowly going out of print. A lot of these old titles are going out of print now. A lot of it, particularly stuff that's Fox movies.
Just before you get off Jean-Claude, what was that? What was that really bad one? We had trouble finding
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. Have you watched that yet?
Not yet. That's tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I've been told not to watch it
because it's so bad.
By a guy I know, also named Dave, a friend of mine from years back. He's a big JCVD fan, and I was telling him, I've just watched like Hard Target. First watch Hard Target. He's like, so good. And I was like, oh, yes, great. And he's like, whatever you do, don't watch Street Fighter. And from someone who is a Jean-Claude Van fan, right? He says, don't watch Street Fighter, it's awful. So I went and bought it.
Yeah, well,
I just had to.
That was hard to get.
It was hard to get that, and Universal Soldier. I had trouble getting.
That's right.
I think Universal Soldier might be out of print. It hasn't been out for that long, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But you did find it at a store.
Well, when I went over to the
furniture
Nunawading, the furniture place, I found it at the JB there.
Gosh, there you go. So so I have got Street Fighter, and that's apparently like dreadful. So I'm so excited to watch that. Like the more I read about it, the more I was like, I have to watch this. Yeah. Dreadful Rotten Tomatoes scores, awful Letterboxd score. Everyone like half a star. This is so bad. Even for a JCVD film, I watched some clips online. It's been called like one of the worst movies ever made. I was like, I have to see this movie. I'm buying it for $7, so I bought it. Anyway, some other stuff I've been watching, like as I said, I've been trying to get my hands on some stuff that is like going out of print. A lot of it's like old 20th Century Fox titles. What Disney has done now, because Disney owns the Fox catalogue, they're putting a lot of it out of print. Or essentially what's probably happened is they're getting to the end of their print run and they're just not doing anymore. Yeah. So a lot of stuff is dropping off. I'm just trying to get as many of these.
On Disney Plus, probably.
Well, we'll talk about that very soon. There's going to be a supplement to Disney Plus called Star, which has all the old Fox stuff, and that's essentially why they're doing this.
Come back to that.
We will come back to that. But I've been trying to cobble up all these Fox movies that are slowly going out of print. And just happens to be a lot of kind of like rom-com stuff that was like early 2000s, like 1990s, early 2000s, stuff that was just not in the collection. I had to import these. Miss Congeniality 1 and 2. Really enjoy the first one. I think I'd seen it a long time ago. with my friend Lockie, who loves it. It's like one of his favourite films.
That'd be right.
Yeah, he just loves that kind of trashy movie. But it's really good. I really enjoyed watching that. Second one was awful.
Yeah, I liked the first one. The second one,
it's
not so much.
terrible. Legally Blonde, I watched. Again, it's the same deal. Where the first one's actually quite good. I wouldn't say it's as good. I'd say out of those two, Legally Blonde's probably like bottom rung. It's okay. Reese Witherspoon's fun. Second one was just the worst thing I've ever seen. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Dreadful. These are movies that you love. Charlie's Angels.
Oh, my God.
I got into them. I had to get them.
That's the one with...
the old ones.
Yeah.
With Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu. Yeah.
That... Did you... Was it because was there more than one, or was it
two?
Just... There was two.
I watched
Did
them
you watch both?
Yeah. Full Throttle is the second one.
I haven't watched the second one.
Right.
I think I've seen a little bit of it.
Yep.
But I haven't watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one was one of the only films I've turned off halfway through ever. It was so bad. I thought it was disgraceful.
I think it's just that same level
just
as the
awful.
It's on that same level as the Jean-Claude films, where it's so bad that it's just enjoyable. But there's like a great cast. Bill Murray's in there. Sam Rockwell is in there.
I even love
awesome.
Bill Murray, but Bill Murray was terrible in that.
Yeah,
I thought anyway.
Yeah, but these are my
I'm going to
favourites.
slam for that, but I don't
Probably.
care.
They're huge cult following films now.
It's just
Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu.
So Cameron doesn't do it for me.
Really? Oh, love her. I love her.
Some of the stuff's okay.
She has great films.
She's sort of in the same...
Well, I won't say great films.
Same category as Tom Cruise for me.
Yeah.
Where... I don't know. There's just something about them that I just can't deal with.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe because...
But Tom Cruise, I mean, some of his films are fantastic. Love most of his films.
Well, Cameron Diaz was in There's Something About Mary, which is probably one of my favourite comedies of all time. And I love that as well. Over and over again. I don't know. I've just got a soft spot for like the Drew Barrymore films and the Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, that stuff. So I enjoyed them. I thought they were fun. I've got the new one as well. I bought that one. So I'll probably watch that by myself, probably.
Mind you, I mean, The Holiday. I love The Holiday.
The Holiday's great. Yeah. She's in The Mask. She's heaps of great stuff. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
I won't say heaps.
There's a few things she's done I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Probably not because of her.
Oh, another one she was in, actually, that I don't know if I've written it down here, but I did watch it. And it's another one that you didn't like. I must have talked about this earlier, which was that one with Tom Cruise, Vanilla Sky, which I loved it. I thought it was so good.
What a bag of crap
I thought it was brilliant movie. So there you go. She's done some good stuff.
Just pretentious filmmaking at its best.
Good.
That and that other thing, was it Tree
of Life? Nah, different level. Whole different level. So anyway, a couple of other ones I've watched. Runaway Jury, which is my favourite, and I forgot his name, John Cusack.
You love John
Terrific.
Cusack.
And you've got Gene Hackman in there. And Dustin Hoffman's in there, and there's a scene where Gene Hackman, Dustin Hoffman are going at it, just like it's huge argument, amazing. I'm thinking this is such a good scene, and there's actually a half-hour documentary on that scene on the Blu-ray on the set because it's the only time they're ever in a scene together. It's just incredible, just the acting range on those two guys, terrific. I watched The Rock. Finally, watch The Rock. This is the one with Nick Cage, another one of your favourites.
Yep. God, you watch some shit.
It's been so fun, though. And Sean Connery and who else?
The Rock's not bad. I don't mind.
The Rock is fantastic. Again, this is a Disney one. This is one of those old Touchstone Pictures films, or Hollywood Studios, I think, did that one. Great. I'd never watched it because it's so long. A lot of these really old movies I just never got to because I was never in the mood for a long movie. Speaking of long movies, Backdraft.
I enjoyed that when it came out.
Backdraft is brilliant.
It's probably dated really
badly.
It's
really badly dated. It's another just a bad movie, but it's good. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I always go to say Kirk Douglas.
No,
Kurt Russell. And I can't remember who else.
Funny thing is I love Kurt Russell films.
I love Kurt Russell, yeah, but he does some shit too.
He does some absolute shit, but I love him.
Yeah. It's great. He's just charismatic, I think. But he's actually a good actor, that's the thing. I think a lot of these ones that do shitty movies like JCVD or Schwartzy or whatever, their acting's maybe a bit questionable. but their movies are fun. But then you got Kurt Russell, who's a legitimately really terrific actor. I enjoyed that. I watched one called Thief. Have you seen this? This is with James Caan. 1980s, really sort of gritty, maybe even 70s. I don't know when this was made. It's this really gritty, sort of almost neo-noir film, like neon-drenched. It's got this incredible electronic soundtrack. He's like a safe cracker. He's trying to get out of the game, but he gets pulled back in by the mob, and the mob wants him to do like one last hit.
I think I know the one. Yeah,
And he does the job, and they rip him off. And I won't say too much more because I'll just end up spoiling it, but it's a bloody terrific movie. And I'd heard over the years this is such a good film, such a good movie, but I just never got around to it. Again, another long one. I loved it. I thought it was just terrific. Just one of those just really sort of I don't even know how to say it. But
was
just
it called Thief? It's not coming up as...
Yeah, Thief. Are you spelling it correctly? Thief? Yeah. I thought that might have been it. Thief. It's great. It's just such a, what's the word? I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is. I don't know. He can't pull it up on IMDb. But it's definitely there.
There
Thief, James Caan. Right down the bottom. What's ratings that got? 7.4. Terrific film. So good. Who directed that one again?
Michael
Mann, yeah, who did like Heat and all that great stuff. Terrific. Yep. Great movie. Like, if you haven't seen Thief, bloody watch it. And James Caan in that is so good.
Yeah, I think I have seen that.
So good. It's like Sonny Corleone level. Yeah. Oh, so good. I will watch it again.
Yeah, no, good film.
I will revisit that film. I watched one called Year of the Dragon, which is Mickey Rourke. It's a movie that kind of tries to be something a bit like Thief, but it kind of falls short a bit. It's really slow. It's very dated. Like, there's a lot of really controversial stuff. There's a lot of it was very controversial when it came out. It's about all these killings in Chinatown and in is it New York or somewhere in America, one of the Chinatowns. There's like all these killings, and the way it kind of depicts race relations and races and stuff is... Yeah, it's not good. Like, there's some really bad stereotypes and stuff. Mickey Rourke's character is like absolute racist. There's some of the stuff he comes out with is awful. So it's quite a confrontational film. It's just been released actually by Imprint, WandaVision's Imprint label here in Australia. They just reissued like a special edition of it. It's one of those movies where you kind of have to watch for the time period it came from.
Yeah.
But I think, what is it, 80 something? I think maybe even it was a little outdated.
85.
I think it was even like really outdated for the time, and that's why it was so controversial when it came out. But it's one of those films that's kind of interesting to look at for that reason, to kind of view through that kind of that lens of why something like this is so controversial. But it's a movie that has like a huge cult status.
It's got a 6.9 on.
The acting is really great. Like, Mickey Rourke his early films were just
his early stuff's great.
Oh man, so good.
Most of his stuff.
I think he's really good. But
He's hardly done any bad stuff.
Doesn't do a lot. He hasn't done much.
He doesn't do a
recently.
lot, full stop. But what he does is always pretty good.
There's one called Barfly I need to see. Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah.
It came out on Blu-ray. It's out of print now. I could try and get my hands on that. But yeah, I did enjoy that. But again, it's a questionable film where you enjoy it for some reason. As for some aspects, like the acting, the writing is great, the story is interesting, but then a lot of it's just so controversial, and so you kind of think, I don't want to like this film. That sort of thing. Slippery slope. Double-edged sword. Couple of other things I watched. An Officer and a Gentleman I finally got around to, which are Richard Gere and Deborah Winger, kind of romance film. Actually, I thought it surprised me. It was actually very good, because I thought it was like going to be like a really flighty sort of romantic film. And I mean, I don't mind that kind of stuff. But it was actually like a really dramatic sort of film about this guy going through training in the Navy, like naval training.
Yeah, that's right.
Luke Gossett Jr. is in it, and he's so
fantastic.
fucking good. He won the Academy Award for that.
Yeah,
really fucking good. And even like Richard Gere, Richard Gere's a great actor as well. He's terrific in that. They're all great. I enjoyed it. Wasn't fantastic, not the best movie I've ever seen, but it really surprised me how quite good that was. Mulholland Drive is another one I visited it for the first time.
Good film.
It's one I've been putting off for so long. See, I'm surprised that you would like that.
No, I didn't mind it.
I'm surprised you don't enjoy something like Vanilla Sky, but then would enjoy Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, don't put him in the same category.
That same sort, but it is. It's what's his name? The director, David Lynch.
Yeah, some of his stuff is just tripe.
But that's the thing about his movies. I watch them and I don't know whether I like them. or
The length of it's questionable.
it's very long. It's a 2.5 hour one. That's why it took me so long to get to it.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
It's another one of those movies that's really confusing, and there's been like a huge, I guess, sort of conversation around it. Since how long is it? Like probably 20-year-old movie now.
2001.
Yeah, there you go. It's a 20-year-old film. There's like been conversation around it for years.
I mean, I haven't seen it for a long time,
Yeah.
but my memory of it was that I actually didn't mind it. And I thought it was really, really nicely shot, particularly for its time.
I've found these David Lynch films. I can't say I'm a huge fan of
No,
him,
not at all.
but the movies
Aussie,
I've
Australian,
watched.
David Lynch?
No,
No?
he's American.
Is he?
Yeah. But I found that the films of his that I've watched, I go through these weird sort of, and I think it's kind of the reason that his films always start very, I don't want to say the word commercial, but sort of like mainstream. It feels like a normal movie. And then it starts spiraling into something completely different. And then it throws you all these twists and turns, confuses the hell out of you. You don't know what the hell's going on. And then kind of at the end, you just realize you've kind of gone from this stage where you're like, oh, yeah, I love this movie. And then you're like, I fucking hate this movie. I'm so confused. I don't like this. I hate this. Get me out of this. And then by the end, it clicks and you're like, fucking hell, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things that just sticks with you. And you just can't stop thinking about it. And that's what the Mulholland Drive is like. Something like Blue Velvet. He did Blue Velvet, which are very similar, where you go through these weird...
Well, two films I can think of that was a bit like that for me were Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Where you've taken on this ride and it's an enjoyable film, but some of the meaning of it is lost on you.
Yeah.
And I remember on that both that film and... what's it called?
That Nick Cage one?
No. Guy Pearce.
Oh, Memento.
Memento was the same.
Yes. Yeah.
Memento, I come away from that thinking, what the hell? I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until on both occasions, that film and Oh Brother, I was driving to work the following day and it clicked. And I thought, oh my God, I get it now.
But it's like,
and realised that I actually really enjoyed both films.
It's like I was going to say Nick Cage adaptation.
Yeah,
we stopped it the first time, and then
something
was like, we need to go back and rewatch it.
Yep.
It's terrific. But it's that same thing where you're watching it, you like it, and then it starts getting really weird, and you get confused, and you think, I hate this. No, I don't like this. But then once it clicks, you're like, that's fucking brilliant.
I'd like to know, anybody listening or watching, whatever, if there are any films like that of that you've watched.
That'd be interesting.
That you haven't got really understood until the following day, or you've gone back and watched it again, and then it's all clicked and
send me an email, daveleepod@gmail.com.
How are they going to do it if you can't remember it?
daveleepod@gmail.com. You can send it through there, or just get me on Twitter or Instagram, or if you're watching on YouTube in the comments, I'll see everything. But that would be interesting to know. But I really love that. I watched one called Close Range, which had Christopher Walken and who's the other guy that was in it? I watched so much; they're all starting to blend together.
I have no idea.
Oh, a very young.
I've seen it.
He's very young. Was it Sean Penn? I think a very young Sean Penn. It's like a crime thriller, and Christopher Walken is off the charts in this film. I think it would have to be his best performance I've ever seen. He's amazing. Now I have to watch one called King of New York, which I've been told is incredible as well.
Chris Penn as well.
Oh, is he?
He was too.
Chris
and Sean Penn.
Yeah, there you go. That's a very good movie.
Mary Stuart Masterson.
Again, that's another one that's been reissued by WandaVision's imprint label, limited edition, just come out here.
I can't ever remember watching that.
Very good. Another like cult thing, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I also watched Dingo, which is an Australian film, which stars Colin Friels, I want to say, and Miles Davis, jazz trumpeter, Miles Davis.
Yeah.
Really brilliant Australian film. Like one of these under-the-radar things. It was directed by
Rolf de Heer.
Rolf de Heer, really great Australian director. It's kind of just a movie that's gone under the radar. I'd never really heard about
Can't
it.
admit to anyone by name Rolf being Australian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Rolf. Oh, Lord. No, he's the other Rolf. He's English. They can have him.
Yeah, exactly right.
But this film was terrific. Really good. I would watch it again. You'd really like this one. Umbrella has just reissued this as part of their Sunburnt Screens label. And it's just so good. It's just
I can't say I've watched it.
Miles Davis plays like a trumpeter who kind of visits Australia, outback Australia, and Colin Friels' character when he's a kid gets inspired and he wants to be the best trumpeter ever, basically. And it's a bit like cliche and whatever, a bit sappy, but I thought it was really good film. So that's available for Umbrella Entertainment as well. And I watched a couple of Clint Eastwood movies. I went wild on Clint Eastwood movies last year. I've got so many of them. And I powered through I think 12 Clint Eastwood movies last year. Got to a point where it was like, that's enough. I have so many more, but that's enough.
They all become the same.
Yeah, so now I've picked back up on them. I've watched Heartbreak Ridge, which I thought was really good.
That's a good film.
Like a war film.
Yeah.
He's like a, what do you call it, like a colonel sort of thing. Like a commander of this troop. He's
gunnery sergeant.
Gunnery sergeant. He's brought in to sort of, there's this band of soldiers who are kind of a bit out of line, so they bring in this gunnery sergeant to kind of knock him on the back of the head and get him to get back into line. Whip him into shape. And he's very, very good in it. Like, very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good movie. Great action. There's not a lot of action. There's only like one little scene that's like full on like war, but it's very good. And I watched another one of his called Firefox, which is crap.
He's a pilot?
Yeah, he's
a fighter pilot.
He's a spy.
That's right. He's
a fighter pilot spy who's sent over to like Russia or something to steal this invisible plane.
It's
right.
Like
this super, not invisible jet. It's like this super powered sort of. Is it invisible? Hypersonic. I think it was Russia. Is that where he goes? Trying to look at the IMDb thing. He's sent to the Soviet Union. On a mission to steal a prototype jet fighter that can be partially controlled by Neuralink. And it's like a James Bond. Like if you imagine a James Bond film from the 1980s, it's like that, but it's even more ludicrous.
Yeah.
And it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And there's this scene, right, where the scene where he goes to steal the plane, everyone, they find out he's there. They find out they've been infiltrated by this spy from America, and the spy's here. He's going to come and steal the plane, and everyone's like causing a ruckus. Everyone's like arguing and stuff. And then in the background, he just kind of strolls out. He's put on his big kind of black jet fighter suit and his helmet. He just strolls out and jumps in the plane and flies off. Just that kind of just stupid thing. But the last like 20 minutes is fantastic. It's when he's in the plane, he's like jet fight, like dog fighting and stuff. So good. But the rest of it is, and it's like a 2.5 hour movie as well.
Yeah. I do remember it. I remember watching it, thinking it was a bit
really naff,
a bit trash.
Yeah. But here's some movies that we've watched together recently. These just kind of highlights off the top of my head. We watched one called Ready or Not, which is that film with Samara Weaving. It was like that weird horror kind of suspense thriller flick where she marries into this family, and the tradition on the wedding night is that they have to play a game. And it turns out the game is basically they have to try and find her and kill her. The family tries to kill her, hunt her down. It's terrific, really good. We're not huge on horror.
Enjoyed it.
Or blood or slasher stuff, but that was very fun. And it's quirky. It's a horror comedy, so that kind of stuff is easier for us to sort of get into and watch.
Yeah.
And we've got quite a few movies like that we want to watch that's in the collection, but we're just waiting.
Because there is somebody in the house that doesn't like watching that stuff. So
we watched one called The Current War, and
that was good.
That was, what was that one again?
That was the war between the two.
Oh yeah, Einstein and Tesla.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch and like a bunch of other people were in it. I thought it was good. It's one of those ones that drags on a little bit too long. It's a little bit cliche and stuff, but the performances are good, and the movies, it's interesting.
And the IMDb rating is about right on that, I reckon.
What's that?
6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's about right.
Yeah, I'd say.
So it's what was
Tom
watchable.
Holland is in it.
It wasn't brilliant.
Yeah.
But it was really watchable and quite enjoyable.
Yeah. Is it Einstein against Tesla? Or is Tesla's in it, but he's not warring against Tesla? Edison, and who did I say? Did I get the whole thing wrong?
No. Westinghouse.
Did I say Einstein?
Yeah, you got it all wrong.
That's what I thought. I got the whole thing wrong.
Edison.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like,
Westinghouse, he invented the DC current, I think.
Yeah. They both invented globes, and it was like the first. It's almost like the vaccine thing, isn't it? Everyone's like trying to make a new vaccine and beat the other one, but it was like globes.
So I think the more dangerous current of the two is the AC current.
Yeah.
I think, And Washington invented the DC current.
Washington.
Westinghouse invented the. Oh, he completely fucked that up, didn't we? So yeah, Westinghouse. He invented the DC. I think DC current.
Yeah.
But Edison invented the method of connection, the bulb connection. Yeah. So the Edison is the screw-in bulb, and that's known as the Edison fitting. And there's that, and then the bayonet. So his fitting was better.
Yeah.
And his globes were better, but Westinghouse's. Yeah. So they combine and
riveting.
Yeah.
Riveting.
Was a bit.
It's about as riveting as it sounds, but it's interesting. It was actually quite interesting the
way
way they kind of played off each other to try and be the one that had the most amount of globes like sold and stuff. It was very interesting.
And of course Tesla was in there, and
all that Tesla was in there. Yeah. So we also watched Run All Night, which was that one with Liam Neeson. I can't remember the story, but it's Liam Neeson running around all night trying to get back at someone or
hunting down somebody.
I think his son killed. His son killed the son of the mob boss, and now the mob boss is after Liam Neeson. They're like good friends, lifelong friends, and Liam Neeson's literally running all night. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I like Liam Neeson.
That's right, because the mob were hunting down his son.
Yeah,
and he was trying to get the mob to stop hunting him down.
Yeah. Crazy.
So he hunted down the mob.
Yeah. Oh, good. Classic Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it was.
But it's like high rung Liam Neeson stuff because it actually is really good.
Yeah, exactly.
What's his name was also in it? Ed
Harris.
Ed Harris.
Yep.
Fantastic. He's always good. So I watched that. We watched Da 5 Bloods, a Spike Lee joint. That was the one where they were the Vietnam veterans, where they go back to Vietnam to find the gold.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that they made it hidden. Didn't like it.
Oh, it was all right. It was a bit naff, but
a bit long.
Yeah, a bit long.
Went to Netflix for a reason.
Exactly.
But it's a Spike Lee film, and
I think I've discovered I don't really like much in the way of Spike Lee films.
I'm kind of like, I don't know. Maybe not the right audience for the Spike Lee films, but I think he's good. He does good stuff. But I don't think he's really done anything that I really love.
Malcolm X
I haven't watched yet.
That's
something that goes for 3 hours.
That's really good.
It's in my pile over there somewhere that needs to be watched. I was going to watch it.
That is really good. Malcolm X.
He has done. He's a great filmmaker, but it's just there's not too many of his films that I really loved. Another couple that we watched, a couple of submarine movies, Kursk and Hunter Killer. Can't remember which was which. There's a couple of movies set on a submarine.
Yeah, Curse.
Curse was like a submarine disaster.
That's right. The Americans had to go and save the. That was a true story.
They got they got like what do you call it? They got trapped, and they had to go and try and save them. And then Hunter Killer was the one with Gary Oldman and Gerard Butler. I can't even really remember that because I think I fell asleep in it. I think I fell asleep in both of them, actually. I realised I don't like submarine films. We watched My Spy, which was that one with Dave Bautista, where he's like the spy and he's got the young girl who's like his sidekick. That was a lot of fun.
It's expecting to be absolute trash.
So was I, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. A lot of fun, very funny. Good action in it's great. Dave Bautista is fantastic. Criminal we watched, which was Kevin Costner. And what happens? Ryan Reynolds is in it at the beginning and he's the spy and he gets killed. And then they put his memories into Kevin Costner, who's like this prisoner.
That's right.
And they put his memories into the prisoner to try and recover the memories that he's had from the spy thing or whatever. But that was a bit far-fetched, but fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Enjoyable. We watched one called Wildlife, which was with Carey Mulligan and Jake Gyllenhaal, where he goes off to fight the fire.
We've only watched these in the last couple of weeks.
I know. He goes off to fight the fire, and there's like him and his wife. Got a bit of animosity, and he comes back to the family, and you got the young kid there. Very, very dramatic, like overly dramatic movie, like really heavy film. But I thought it was really good. Performances are fantastic, and all that stuff. So I definitely recommend that one. I had to import that from the UK because it wasn't available here on Blu-ray. But very good movie. And that was
With,
directed by Paul Dano, written and directed by Paul Dano.
Some of the young Aussie kid.
Yeah,
Ed
Oxenbould. Ed Oxenbould, yeah. Yeah, really good. We watched The Immigrant, which was with Marion Cotillard and
that was,
Joker, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that was good.
And who was the other guy in that? Jeremy Renner. Very good.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
Her character kind of comes to New York as an immigrant from Eastern Europe, and it's just kind of how she struggles to and how she gets, I guess, sort of
sucked into prostitution.
Yeah, very heavy
Basically,
movie. Yeah, gets how she's taken advantage of by these people who pretending, we'll save you from your imprisonment on the island, deportation, all that, and we'll give you a good life, and then she ends up getting sucked into prostitution and all this horrible stuff, and then Jeremy Renner comes along and tries to save her, sort of thing. Very heavy movie, but very, very good.
Really good.
Another one that I've been putting off for a long time because it sounded heavy. You got to be in the mood for that. It also sounded a bit boring, but it was terrific. Really good. You can't go wrong with any of them. They're all fantastic. We also watched Conviction, Sam Rockwell. True story where Sam Rockwell, he got framed for a murder that he didn't commit. And his sister goes to law college to try and get him out of prison, basically. Right. True story. I found it was a bit, even though it was a true story, it was very predictable. It was very...
incredibly predictable.
Yeah, and very... You'd seen movies like it before. You'd seen it over and over.
Yeah.
But it was
It was nothing new.
No, but it was fun.
But it was enjoyable.
I wouldn't say it was fun, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Sam Rockwell is always fantastic. He's my favourite.
I love Sam Rockwell.
I love Sam Rockwell. He's so good. And we've been watching a bunch of Australian movies recently too. Just sort of realised that you guys know if you've been watching my videos and stuff that I've been trying to bulk up my Australian film collection, and we realised there's a bunch of newer ones that we haven't watched that is in our collection that we just kind of wanted to get into and kind of get them out of the way. Top End Wedding was one, which was they decide they want to get married. There's the English guy. He's an English guy living in Australia, and he marries an Indigenous lady, and she wants to get married at the top end of Australia to get married with her culture and her people. So they go to the islands and go to get married up there. But it turns out when they get there, her mother's done a runner, and they want to try and find her mother before they get married because she wants the mother.
We wanted her mother at the wedding.
Yeah, the mother has left the father and run off, and they've got to try and find her to have her.
And
at the wedding.
she was on a
don't spoil it.
Just on a quest of self-discovery.
Yeah. So
that was the mother's quest.
Yeah. But very good.
And it was the whole thing of the film. I think they were all on a a self-discovery
thing.
Quest.
Good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
It
wasn't terrific. Wasn't the best film, but it was good.
Saw some beautiful scenery.
Oh yeah,
of our country.
That at the top end of Australia is fantastic. I've got to get up there.
Yep.
See it. Oh. And we
I might go by myself 4-wheel drive and just go.
Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Pack as much fuel as you can.
I can do that.
Yeah. Watch out for those snakes out there.
Yeah.
Snakes in the back garden.
Well, that's true.
That's not a joke, by the way.
and lizards under the house.
Yeah, a big lizard came out under the house the other day, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been a big blue tongue.
Yeah.
Big blue tongue, and he would have been probably... Oh, we really only saw the front part of him, but he would have been probably 400 mil long, I would think.
It's huge. Almost like a snake. I thought it was a snake at first. I just saw the head pop out. I thought, fuck, it's a snake. No, it's a lizard.
He's been living here for a little while.
Yeah.
We've seen him... Well, I'd seen him a couple of times when you were still overseas.
Yeah. The Merger is also another one we watched, an Australian film. It was very surprising how good that was. Australian comedy about this, the merger, about the football team.
Oh, yeah.
The football team either has to merge with another football team or go bust, essentially. Yeah. So they pull in this coach to come in and revitalise the team, basically. It's very funny.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
Very funny. Good movie, and I enjoyed it.
Typical Aussie humour.
Yeah. It was a lot better than I expected. We're getting on here. We're past an hour already. But let's talk about kind of newer release ones that we watched, like streaming ones. Soul was on Disney Plus. Loved it.
Beautiful film.
Fantastic. In fact, Disney reached out to me and they used my quotes in the trailer again, which was amazing. Yep. They used 2 of my quotes in one trailer. Really cool. Really cool. A TV spot.
Maybe you're the only Aussie that watched it.
Maybe. Or maybe my reviews are just that good. No, I don't know. But they liked that. They said, can we use these quotes? I said, absolutely, please do. So I was on the TV spot, which was awesome. The Midnight Sky was the Netflix film with Giorgio Clooney. And he's like out of space, and I can't even remember what it was about because it's a bit boring.
Yep.
Wasn't great. He was on a mission. They sent these people on this mission to find alternative fuel or something like that. I think that's wrong. But the mission has to turn back because the mission fails or something, and he's the one at the control post who has to like help them come back. Oh no, when they're coming back to Earth is like in an apocalypse zone now. Something's happened on Earth. There's been like an event.
Post-apocalyptic tale.
So he's there at the outpost waiting for them to come back to tell him you can't come back into Earth. Anyway, I've butchered that, but it was a bit boring. It wasn't great.
It was all right.
He directed it and whatever else. Typical George Clooney film. But it was okay. I like him. And it was okay. We watched a couple on Amazon as well. Sound of Metal. That was the one about the drummer, the heavy metal drummer who goes deaf.
Oh, yeah.
And then it moves to the deaf community to kind of like try and learn, like, what do you call it? Like kind of come to terms with the fact that he's gone deaf.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought it was terrific.
That was good.
Really good film. That's an Amazon Prime exclusive. And one called Sylvie's Love, which was that one that had Tessa Thompson in it, set in like the 1960s. It was like the love story, and in the record store. He doesn't remember. This was like a week ago.
Probably not.
Tessa Thompson was in it. You got to remember the record store, and then she becomes like a TV exec. She wants to move up the ranks to become a TV executive.
That's right.
I thought it was fun.
Yep.
It was one of those just rom-coms, very fluffy, very sort of run of the mill, but it's got a really great message in there, empowerment and all that and kind of stuff. I thought it was quite good. So terrific performances in both there. Who's the male lead in that one?
Oh, I can't pronounce his name. There you go.
Oh, I don't. Nnamdi Asomugha, I think his name is, and I've probably got that really wrong, and I do apologise because I'm terrible at pronouncing names.
He was fabulous.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
And she's amazing as well, Tessa Thompson. And then we also watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom on Netflix, which is the Chadwick Boseman's final live-action role.
Yeah.
And Viola Davis as well.
Yep.
Powerhouse performances. Incredible. I thought the movie was boring.
I thought it was boring as batshit,
I thought
to
it
be
was
honest.
so boring.
I didn't enjoy it at all.
But that was directed by the same guy who did Fences, which was that one with Viola Davis was in that as well, with Denzel Washington. And I thought that was really boring as well. Actually, I don't know if it was directed by the same person, but it was based on a novel by based on a stage play by the same guy who wrote the stage play for Fences.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
George C. Wolfe.
He directed
it.
Right. I just thought it was boring. I think I'm just not in. It was really stagey. It was almost like they just adapted the stage show directly to the screen. And I don't know if that's the kind of thing for me. I don't know if I don't know. I prefer to make it a little bit more Hollywood, but that's kind of defeats the point of it.
Yeah.
But I think it was like performances again, amazing. But I just thought it was a bit boring because it's like watching a stage show.
Yeah, that's right.
I think a lot of the criticism from the film has said the same thing. Has been it's very stagey. But look, a good story and whatever.
And was it Chadwick's last
live action role? Terrific. He was amazing in it, and
Yeah,
Viola
he
Davis
was good.
amazing.
She's
as
always good.
But yeah, the film was a bit.
I just found it a bit there.
Yeah. Television wise, there's been a lot of movies. We've been watching a lot of movies mostly, so we haven't watched a lot of TV, but we've kind of just got back into watching a little bit of TV. We watched Little Fires Everywhere, which was on Amazon Prime, but that's a Hulu show.
Yep.
Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington.
Yep.
Both fantastic.
Yep.
Very good, like slow burning thriller where you constantly questioning
whole
what the
time
whole
you
the
thinking,
entire
what's
show.
going on?
Completely unpredictable.
Who's going to go off tap?
Yeah, so good. Great show. Loved it. We watched Homecoming. That was on Amazon and Amazon Prime exclusive. Julia Roberts, first season. It's a bit boring.
Mm-hmm.
It was another thriller.
Yep.
Sort of mystery.
First couple of episodes were really good.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was going to be really good, and then it was just more of the same.
Fell off.
And it just
fell off. And
tapered right off.
And it's like, it was weird because there's a massive like twist right at the end. Huge twist. But I predicted it like first episode. And I didn't realize that was supposed to be the twist.
Yeah.
I just thought that you were supposed to just assume that was what it was. I don't want to spoil it, but there's like a big twist, and I'm kind of like, well, this is what I've been thinking the whole time. Where's the twist? It's like but I thought it was quite good because it's like half of it, most of it is set in the past, and then you have flashback to the future. Or sort of the modern day.
Yeah, that's right.
And the way they kind of distinguish between the two is with the aspect ratio. So you've got like a 16:9
that's right.
or like an anamorphic aspect ratio for the stuff set in the past, and then the stuff set in the modern day is like this really like compressed sort of wasn't 4:3. It was like a vertical video almost.
Yeah.
Shot
off phone, like it was shot off the phone.
Yeah, but it had like a really wide lens, and so I thought that was quite. I thought it was quite good how they did that. I've never quite seen that really done before. And then towards the end of the series, again, not spoiling anything really, but the last few episodes are mostly set or completely set in the modern day or the current day. The aspect ratio just widens up, and then all the modern day stuff was in like 16. It's so weird. But I thought it was really quite ingenious the way they did that. But again, the movie wasn't. The show wasn't that great.
As I said, first couple of episodes were pretty good.
So much so that we don't want to go to the second season.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Don't really bother with it.
We also watched we've been watching the Grand Tour, and we watched James May, Our Man in Japan, both on Amazon Prime.
He's a weird unit, isn't he?
Weird character.
He's a weird unit, but I loved it.
Love it. So we've been enjoying those like at the end of an evening. A lot of fun. And like I've had Amazon Prime for a month, and it expires next week. So I've been trying to watch all this stuff on Amazon before it expires. So it's been most of our TV viewing. It's been all of our TV viewing, all Amazon stuff. Other than, of course, WandaVision. You jump on the gun here.
Yeah, no.
WandaVision we've been watching. We've watched the first 3 episodes. The 4th one goes out tonight. But by the time people are listening to this, the 4th one's already out there in the wild.
Oh, that's tonight. It's Friday.
Friday, yeah. So
we had a public holiday a couple of days ago, so sort of thrown the week out. It feels like it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday today.
Weird. So that's tonight, WandaVision. What have you been thinking about it so far?
I've got mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't formed an opinion on it yet. I don't know whether I'm enjoying it or not.
Yeah.
I think by the time it gets to the end of it, I'll look back and think I'll understand why they've done it the way they have.
Yeah.
And I'll think, that was actually really good, quite ingenious. But at the moment, it's like, it wants to get a bit better.
I think that's the tough thing with this show in particular is that you're getting it so slowly.
Yeah, that's right.
Every week, and it's like every week you have to kind of. I'm loving it. I love everything Marvel, really. Vision and Wanda are 2 of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Like as far as B characters, like the side characters go, they're my favorites. I love them, and I've read a lot of the comics that this is kind of based on, and they're just weird comics where Vision and the Scarlet Witch get married and they have kids, and it's just such a weird comic run where it's just like superheroes living in suburbia sort of thing. And I'm enjoying it. I love, the way it throws back to the old shows and stuff, which I love. I watch all the old 50s, 60s sitcoms and 70s stuff, like Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, like I Love Lucy, all that stuff. I'm loving it, but again, it is that thing where it's like, why have that? What's the reason?
Yeah, exactly right. And like all the real camp acting and stuff like that. That's it's like, but I know at the end of it, I'll sit back and think, okay, I get why they've done it the way they have. But I just wish they had have released it all at once.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot.
So I'm in the other camp. I love that they release it 1 week at a time because it gives you something to talk about. Maybe not so much you, but
maybe.
Like myself and the people in the film community and stuff, and just like getting on Twitter and stuff, and everyone's just talking about it. Yeah. And it reminds me of the days where I'd watch Smallville and then, 1 episode a week, and then I'd call up Lockie at the end of the week and be like, oh my God, it was the best episode. Lex Luthor is going to be like evil next week. But then it takes like 10 years for Lex Luthor to be evil. But I feel like it's that same sort of communal viewing I really love about it. But it is really frustrating. It's like, I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same.
So we'll see. Episode 4
but
tonight.
I'm hoping, as I said, I haven't really formed a huge opinion on it yet. I just don't know whether it's good or whether it's not.
Well, we'll find out.
Exactly right.
Apparently, the last few episodes like full out just MCU, like real traditional MCU. Once it gets past this,
but what I don't get is why it's almost like they're jumping from one timeline to another.
It'll make sense,
and
it'll make sense.
Hope so.
They're stuck in some sort of bubble or something. I think you got the guy that's come out of the porthole, and
they're only like 20-minute episodes, like 20, 25 minutes. Make them 40 minutes.
I think the ones at the end of the season are going to be 40-minute shows. But I think they've kept these ones 20 minutes to stay as true to the old sitcoms as possible. I think it'll make sense. I'm hearing a lot of people saying the same thing as you, like why have they done it like this? Yeah. But I trust in Marvel.
Trust in the system.
Trust in Marvel. They have not done us wrong so far.
Yeah, that's true.
The way they've done their movies, it's always
trust
just so, Ben Affleck came out. Ben Affleck's not been in the Marvel movie other than Daredevil, that old Daredevil film. But Ben Affleck came out and said, of course, he was Batman in the DC films. He came out and said, Kevin Feige is the best producer in Hollywood. It's the guy running Marvel. He said, if Kevin Feige came to me and said, this is going to work, I believe him. He said he's the only producer in Hollywood that I would believe him saying, this is going to work. So let's trust in Marvel.
Trust them.
One more just sort of bit of thing to talk about as far as television shows. We've got it. Woohoo!
Got it.
You got it this time. It's the Deadwood update.
Woohoo! Deadwood update.
Yes, I can't feel it's going to be a good one.
Where were we up to last time?
It was
season 2.
End of season 2 somewhere.
It's going to fall off.
So for the new listeners out there, Deadwood update, basically we've been trying to get through Deadwood for years
For 10 years.
For probably 10 years, yeah. And we start over again.
And this is what, about the third or fourth time?
This is our third go trying to get through Deadwood. Finally, at the end of season... Oh, pardon me.
Season 1 was fantastic. We loved season 1.
Season 2 started all right, and then it's just fallen off the deep end.
And it's gone, I think last update we were about episode 8, I think.
Something like that, yeah. So the last time you were on the show was episode 14, which was December 7.
Yep.
The December 7 episode... so it was like 2 months ago.
And we hadn't watched one.
No, we'd watched one Deadwood.
Right, okay.
We'd watched one that week. It's at the point where we're not enjoying it that much and we're getting through like one episode a week or 2 episodes a week. All right, so how many?
So since... What was that?
Since December 7, which is like 2 months.
Yep, so since December 7, we've watched absolutely nothing.
None. No Deadwood.
Just can't get back
Can't
into
do
it.
We knew this to happen.
We will though.
We
will get into it this week.
We have to finish it, yeah.
We'll finish season 2.
All right.
We'll come back this week and say, no, we didn't finish season 2.
That's the problem. You stop and then you can't get back into it.
Yeah, it just became really boring. And I can understand. After having watched the first season, you think, this is fantastic. Why did they cancel after 3 seasons?
Makes sense.
You can see why.
Makes sense, yeah.
So we've got maybe 2 episodes left of season 2 and then season 3. And then we're going to try and get through the movie.
Oh, yeah, there's a movie as well. Fucking hell. Apparently the movie's not great.
No, it can't be any worse than season 2.
Well, people who love the series were like, the movie's not great. So, we'll see.
Maybe we'll like the movie then.
Well, maybe. I did want to do this earlier in the show. We've been talking for an hour and a half.
Catch up on. It's been
lots to catch up on. My good friends over at MadMan Entertainment have sent me a couple of DVDs of their brand new release titles that I'm going to give away in a prize pack. One is Jiu-Jitsu, which stars, it's got a cast including Nicolas Cage and Frank Grillo, Juju Chan, Tony Jaa, and Alain Moussi is in there as well. It's like a martial arts kind of film. And there's also one here called Savage, which is a Kiwi film. Jiu-Jitsu is every 6 years an ancient order of jiu-jitsu fighters joins forces to battle a vicious race of alien invaders. There's a bit of a sci-fi as well. But when a celebrated war hero goes down in defeat, the fate of the planet and mankind hangs in the balance. Savage stars Jake Ryan. It's inspired by the true stories of New Zealand's street gangs. Across 30 years, Savage follows Danny at 3 defining moments in his life as he grows from a boy into the violent enforcer of a gang. Apparently terrific film.
Oh, if it's anything like some of the other...
Like Once Were Warriors or that kind of stuff.
I'm going to love that.
So I've got these 2. They're going to be given away in a prize pack. To enter this one, you got to head to my YouTube channel and find my my most recent Blu-ray update video. That's going to be the January 2021. So go to the comments of that and let me know. I want to know either what is your favorite Nick Cage flick? Even better, tell me your favorite D-grade Nick Cage straight to DVD flick. Or let me know what your favorite Kiwi film is, a film out of New Zealand that you really enjoyed.
Oh, Boy.
Oh yeah, terrific.
Love
Taika Waititi, Boy. Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
What was the other one that Taika did? The other Kiwi film. What we did in the shadows.
Yeah.
The vampires. So good. Yeah, anything. But yeah, just let me know your favorite film out of New Zealand or your favorite D-grade Nick Cage.
They're
straight to DVD.
They're going to what, Australia?
Oh, yeah, Australian subscribers only, I should say. I have to stress that. These are going to Australian subscribers only. The ones I'm holding if you're watching the video, the ones I'm holding my hand right now, these are the actual ones you're going to win. So I'll be sending them out. So enter away. I'm going to have that open for like a week. So Feb 8th, we'll close that off, and then I'll draw a winner randomly.
Awesome.
And I'll be in touch. So, yeah, Aussie entrance only.
Well, I'm looking forward to that Kiwi one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I should be getting the Blu-rays of both of them. I'll be reviewing them. So, there's a lot of news to get into, and we've only got half an hour of the show left.
Ooh.
Do we push a 2.5-hour show today? I don't know. Is that too much?
We'll just go and see where we land.
There's a lot of stuff. We can probably get through a lot of this very quickly. There's not been a whole lot of news, but there's been just kind of a few bits and pieces that have been happening that I just kind of wanted to talk about a bit. There's been more movie delays. Oh, surprise, surprise. I felt like 80% of our news last year was just, this movie's delayed again. So essentially the crux of it is James Bond 25, No Time to Die, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Quiet Place 2 and Peter Rabbit 2 have all been pushed into late 2020. Some are suggesting that late 2021 they've been pushed into. Some are suggesting just hold James Bond off until 2022 and cash in on the 60th anniversary of the franchise. Dr. No came out 1962. So cash in on the 60th anniversary.
Maybe they will.
Yeah.
All this is new to me, so...
Yeah. Pushed into 2022 is Morbius, which one of the Spider-Verse films. Got Jared Leto in there, who's playing Morbius the vampire. And Uncharted, which is that one with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, which is based on that video game. So they've been pushed into 2022. Now, all the eyes are on the other studios in Hollywood, particularly Disney, to see what they're going to do with their slate. Disney's got, coming out this year, Black Widow, The Eternals, Cruella, Luca, Jungle Cruise, Death on the Nile, Free Guys, Spielberg's West Side Story remake, and Encanto, along with a bunch of other things as well. These are just kind of the highlights there. People are asking what's going to happen. Are they going to keep pushing them off? Are they going to dump these on Disney Plus, or are they going to give it like a split release? So Raya and the Last Dragon is coming out in March. They're going to give that a split release where that's going to cinemas, but it's also available on Disney Plus on the exact same day. But you got to pay the extra $30, like what you did with Mulan, the premiere access. You pay $30, you get Mulan, but this time they're offering it in cinemas as well, because that was the big controversy. Everyone was like, I don't mind paying the $30, but I'd prefer to have the option to go and see it in the cinema.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone got really annoyed. I don't want to pay $30 if you haven't given me the option to do that, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what Disney does. I personally think they're going to keep pushing all of the big ones like Black Widow and Jungle Cruise even, Death on the Nile, Spielberg's West Side Story. These are probably all going to just keep getting pushed and pushed. Stuff like Cruella, maybe even Luca and Encanto, which are two animated films. I feel like they're probably going to get the Disney Plus treatment, whether that's like Raya, where it gets the split treatment, or it's like Soul, where they give it to you for free. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I feel like Disney is like the big stuff like Black Widow, The Eternals, Jungle Cruise. They want on the big screen, and they want to make big, cinematic events.
Jungle Cruise in particular.
Well, they've been pushing.
Black Widow.
Jungle Cruise is supposed to come out in like 2019, and they pushed that. That was like it was supposed to come out in December. It was going to be a Christmas film, but they decided, no, we're going to hold off and we're going to make it a big summer blockbuster. Obviously, very, what's the word I'm looking for? They know it's going to do well.
Yeah.
They're very confident in the film. So they decided, let's do it like a 2020 big summer release. 2020 didn't really have a summer.
No.
So they pushed it off again. I just feel like they're going to keep pushing that one. That's The Rock. It's Emily Blunt. It's like a big action adventure in like the vein of Pirates of the Caribbean, like a real pulpy kind of action adventure flick.
Couldn't really see it coming out in summer this year in the US, could you?
I don't think so.
The way they're
July.
tracking with their
No.
COVID and stuff.
That's sad. I want to see this. This is like the movie I'm most excited about outside of the Marvel stuff. But as far as the Marvel stuff goes, Black Widow, The Eternals, as far as what I understand is that Marvel really wants to keep putting these films off to differentiate them between the other Disney Plus stuff. So like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They kind of want the big movies, particularly now where we're at the beginning of the Marvel TV universe. They want them to be differentiated, so Black Widow doesn't just get buried as a TV film, essentially. So it's going to be interesting to see what Disney does. And there's other studios. People are watching these other tentpoles closely, which is Mission Impossible 7, Top Gun 2, Fast and Furious 9. These are the big tentpole blockbusters, which are from other studios that are probably going to get delayed again. More than likely.
Top Gun again.
Yeah.
Danny's not going to be happy.
No. Our mate Danny, he is not going to be happy. He's a big Top Gun fan. Mission Impossible 7, I'm dying to see that. So, there you go. We'll see what happens with those movies. A really big sort of thing that's come out of this, of course, Warner Brothers has chosen the split strategy for all of their releases in 2021. So they're doing HBO Max and cinemas, same day. Every single movie. They jumped the gun. They said, you know what? Sick of putting stuff off. We're sick of going, this movie will go in cinemas. This one will go on HBO Max. They've gone, fuck it. Let's put everything on HBO Max and in cinemas same day. So their entire film slate is no longer in flux. It's all set, right? So HBO Max has done this. We've talked about this in the past. I had a great long conversation with Austin Burke and Chris Parker from 3C Films about this, the second last episode of last season. Essentially, Warner Brothers did this without telling any of the filmmakers, any of the casts, any of, whatever, other than Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman 1984. They were told that their film was being put on streaming, and they were given like $10 million payouts for here we go.
Really?
Yeah, we'll give you this much money, however much it was. I think it was 10 mil. And they said, this is the money that we think you would have earned off back ends if the film went into cinemas. But none of the other films got that treatment. So a lot of the filmmakers and stars and stuff were very disappointed, very annoyed, as you can understand, because not only are their films getting dumped on streaming, they're not getting the money that they would have made. They're not getting the back ends that they should have made that Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins were given. One filmmaker who was very unhappy is Warner Brothers' golden boy, Christopher Nolan.
Oh, really?
Very, very unhappy. He's had a 20-year relationship with the studio. His films have grossed $4 billion for them.
Wasn't he? We sat next to...
Yeah, we sat next to him at Warner Brothers.
We did a Warner Brothers tour and sat next to him in the...
commissary.
The commissary.
Him and his brother, Jonathan Nolan.
That's
they were
right.
just having lunch at the next table.
That wasn't long after they did... Was it Batman?
I think it was in the middle. I think they had just done The Dark Knight. So it was between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. So they were probably having a conversation about the film on the line. Yeah, while we were just sitting there. It was great. But yeah, so essentially all of his major blockbusters have been done with Warner Brothers. The exceptions are The Prestige, which was a co-production between Warner Brothers and Disney's Touchstone, and Interstellar, which was a co-production between Warner Brothers and Paramount. And then he's done stuff like his earlier films like Memento, that was down outside the studio system and whatever. But his big blockbusters have been done with Warner Brothers. It's not a contract. He wasn't on a contract, like exclusivity or anything like that. It's just like a relationship. They have this good relationship where he will come, he'll pitch a film to them, and essentially they'll just greenlight it. Because Christopher Nolan's going to bring in the bank. He's going to make a really bloody good film. They give him huge budgets too, without question. Dark Knight Rises, $250 million budget. Tenet had a $205 million budget. Dunkirk and Interstellar had around $150 to $160 million. Warner Brothers give him creative control and final cut of all of his pictures, which is very rare in Hollywood. So he's like, final say, whatever he wants is the word.
Because they know it's going to work.
Yeah. Now, Nolan pushed Warner Brothers to release Tenet into cinemas at the height of the biggest pandemic the world has seen for 100 years, and the movie absolutely flopped. So that's so that's kind of like I guess maybe led to a bit of animosity. Maybe, I don't know. But Nolan came out when they announced that that they were dumping his next film. Oh no, sorry, no. The Tenet thing was before. So Tenet, he was happy that Tenet didn't get put to streaming, but he's really pissed off with the way that Warner Brothers has gone around the system and screwed over everyone else.
Right.
So he's previously come out and said, some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find out they were working for the worst streaming service. Warner Brothers had an incredible machine for getting a filmmaker's work out there, both in theaters and in the home, and they are dismantling it as we speak. They don't even understand what they're doing. Their decision makes no economic sense, and even the most casual Wall Street investor can see the difference between disruption and dysfunction. He was later quoted as calling it a mess. The whole thing was a mess, and he was also said to be angry at the whole thing. Now, the Wall Street Journal has come out a couple of weeks ago while we've been on a break and has reported that Nolan will be taking his next film elsewhere.
Oh, my God. Wow.
What do you think he'll do?
That's a fair slap for him, isn't it?
So he's now preparing to allegedly preparing to part ways with Warner Brothers over what they're doing.
Where will he take it?
Well, he could go to any of the studios. Paramount,
Disney
Universal, Disney. I think the only caveat would be that he doesn't want his stuff to go to streaming. So he wouldn't sell. You wouldn't imagine him selling to Netflix or Amazon, even though they'll be coming out going, "Okay, take all this money, take it all." The interesting
Godfather offer.
Oh yeah, exactly. They've been paying big bucks lately to acquire films.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is though, Netflix has just started a side thing called like Netflix Theatrical or Netflix Film or something, where they're producing movies that are designed for theatrical release. So they don't go to Netflix and theaters. They have like a full theatrical run, and then we'll probably wind up on Netflix at the back end. So maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You could do something like that if they give him that kind of option where, because what Netflix does is they put films in cinemas for like a really maybe like a week, maybe 2 weeks, whatever the Academy Award, or the Academy who does the Oscars, they have this stipulation that to be eligible for award nomination, your film has to have played in cinemas for a certain amount of time, whether it's 14 days or whatever it is. So Netflix will put their movies in for that required amount of time and then dump it on the service. But what they're now talking about doing is actually making movies that have their full theatrical run, and then we'll probably wind up on Netflix after that as well.
Yeah.
And the first movie they're doing with that model, I think, is one called Spirit, something as a DreamWorks animated film about the horse. So I don't know, but I don't know if he'll want to go to Netflix, or if he does go to Disney, he has to be very careful about them wanting to dump his film on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's right.
That would probably be a contract thing where he'd say, nope, that's not happening. I imagine he is such an influential filmmaker and he's such a force in the industry. This is a guy that gets away with stuff that other people don't get away with. He still shoots on film. He shoots his films on the IMAX format, IMAX film. He shoots any way he wants to film, and the studio just lets him. He guy's got incredible influence because everyone knows he's got an incredible brain and he knows how to make a great film, and every move that he makes is going to pay off. I think he's rich enough, he's got enough money that he can make a film outside the studio system on his own and then sell it off at the end.
Yeah, maybe.
He's probably got a lot of people around him that'll be willing to invest in his projects. He's not going to have to put he's not going to have to do a Francis Ford Coppola and mortgage his house to finish a film, but I feel like he's probably got enough swing, he's got enough cash to go, let's make a big blockbuster outside the studio system and sell it off to the highest bidder. That's what maybe. I feel like. I don't know. And I feel like maybe he's going to have some trust issues to kind of want to pair with another studio.
You would a bit, wouldn't you? Particularly if someone like Warner's done that too.
Yeah. It's crazy. So that's it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him take it to Universal, though.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I think that's probably the next logical step, I'd say.
Because, they're a huge competitor of Warner Brothers. There's going to be a real smack in Warner Brothers' face.
So. I think Warner's is the powerhouse, like no doubt. But if you take Disney out of the equation.
Yeah.
But as far as like longevity and the breadth of their content output, Warner Brothers wins.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Hands down.
Like you go back to the 1920s, Warner Brothers pushing out great stuff, the great gangster films of the 40s and like even some like horror stuff and stuff they did. like early stuff and just big blockbusters, big powerhouse, like top of the line.
Yep.
The next one down is Universal.
Yeah.
Because again, they have that history where they had those classic horror films.
Yeah, and if you see someone like Nolan take it to Universal, who else is going to go?
Yeah, well, exactly right.
Who else is going to walk from Warner and go to Universal?
Yeah.
Because if they see someone like Nolan go across, they're going to think, oh, works for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it too.
I think so.
Let's screw Warner Brothers.
Oh, jeez, it's tough. But yeah, Universal, they've got that output. They've got the Hitchcock
You'd
films.
have to be
They've got
fly on the wall in those meetings, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know. Oh, jeez,
how good would that be?
But I think that would be it. I think if you take Disney out of the equation, which I think he would be I think he'd be hesitant to go to Disney. So I think Universal's the next sort of...
The reason he would go to Disney is because of the largeness of the company.
Yeah.
Right? And if he can get it done in his own terms, he will probably make a lot more money out of it going to Disney. But if he wants to make a stand and give Warner's a slap, he'll go to Universal.
For sure. But that's the interesting thing is that he's worked with Disney before when they did the Prestige. I believe Disney were preparing to make the Prestige and then decided to cancel the production, but Warner Brothers came in at the last minute and said, we'll buy the film off you. And then Disney went, we'll co-produce it and we'll get distribution in one territory, you get distribution in the other territory. And then I think a similar thing happened with Interstellar with Paramount. So does he go to Disney and Paramount, who he has worked with before? And he has a relationship with, he probably has some sort of relationship with.
Yeah, maybe.
Paramount's maybe another rung down from Universal. You probably go Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount out of like the original studios.
Yeah.
MGM's probably up the top there as well, but they're not really, they're sort of defunct sort of thing.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I'd like to see him take the Universal.
I think Universal is, a really good home for him.
And the fallout from that would be fantastic
enormous,
to watch.
Imagine having Spielberg and Nolan under the one roof.
Exactly right.
So there you go. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. We'll, of course, keep you updated on that. A funny story about someone else out of the film industry, Tom Cruise. We love a good Tom Cruise story. We love good trash rag stories. Every now and then we will pull out a good trash rag. This one's come from The Star again. The Sun.
The Sun.
I feel like we're always talking about The Sun. This is most likely bullshit, but it's too fun to pass up.
Good chance coming from that.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise, according to The Sun, has bought a pair of COVID enforcer robots for the Mission Impossible set following his blow-up just before Christmas where he just went off tap. Simon Boyle of The Sun, in his Boyle's Bazaar column, says, I can reveal the Hollywood legend has bought 2 state-of-the-art robots to patrol the set of Mission Impossible 7 when filming resumes this week. He has paid huge sums for the gadgets, which can also administer on-the-spot tests to staff.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
A source told them Tom is so serious about making sure the shoot isn't shut down that he's splashed out on these robots as he can't be everywhere to ensure people are behaving themselves. The robots are really sophisticated and rather intimidating. It's like the Terminator, only not as violent. In addition, so this is also in addition, apparently, to... Well, we know for sure that he spent £500,000
on the ships,
on the cruise ships for his cast and crew to isolate in during the shoot. He's been very, very cautious about COVID, which you love to see.
Yep, exactly.
Very great. It's fantastic.
And very
to see.
Responsible.
Yep. But as far as his robots go,
I reckon it's bullshit.
It has to be sure.
It has to be bullshit.
I'm pretty sure I read something else where someone else came out and was like, "No, that's not true."
it's just a bit far fetched to mine.
It has to be.
But you want it to be so true.
I know, and it just fits, doesn't it? Tom Cruise, like out of everyone you would imagine, Tom
exactly
Cruise.
Right.
Give me, I'm going to buy those robots.
You could just see him too. Yeah, couldn't you?
Yeah. I got these robots here, so be careful, guys.
Robot selfie coming in, and he's going, "Yeah, I love it, I want them."
Yep. Gee, so anyway, that's probably a load of bullshit. But there you go, Tom Cruise. It's good to imagine.
It's nice. Want it to be true.
I want it to be true. I'll be blissfully just sort of believing it, just because I love it. Now here's a big one. Disney Star is launching this month. February 23 is launching in Australia, New Zealand, UK.
Hang on, this month or next month?
This month, February.
Hang on. Depends. Are you a Patreon?
Oh, if you're a patron, it's next month. if you're a general listener, it's next month. It's
You're
this
thinking,
month.
what the hell is
This
this old
month.
silly old bastard talking
Right.
about now?
So if you're a patron, it's next month. If you're a regular listener, it's this month, February. On February 23rd. So going to open in a bunch of territories, countries outside of the USA. USA doesn't get Star. Now, essentially, this
So
is
they
like...
get some other.
They've got
platform, do
Hulu.
they? Oh, right.
This is essentially
That's right.
international Hulu. Now, it's called Disney Plus Star, or Disney Star.
Yep.
And Hulu is Disney's other streaming platform that houses a lot of like the old Fox stuff, a lot of original television. It's like a more mature thing. So there's like TV, MA, R-rated stuff. So less family-oriented stuff.
Right.
You couldn't put on Disney Plus. So over there they have it separate. But really the only reason it's separate over there is that I think it's Comcast still owns 33% of Hulu. Now, the only reason Disney owns the majority of Hulu is because Fox, and Comcast all had a stake in Hulu. And when Disney bought out Fox, they now have the majority share.
Didn't think Comcast was still around, to be honest.
Yeah, still around, still kicking, still huge. I think it was Comcast. So that's the deal with that. So Hulu stays separate over there. But internationally, this Disney Plus Star is going to be integrated into Disney Plus. So it's not a separate service. You don't buy an extra service to have on the side. It's integrated into Disney Plus. You got no choice whether you have it or you don't have it.
Right.
It's going
This is
straight
all
into
part
Disney
of it.
Plus. It's part of it.
Oh, that's right.
Which is pretty good. And along with this, on the launch on Feb 23, we're going to get 4 originals. So it's going to be home to like original content as well, which is
Awesome.
essentially going to be the Hulu stuff.
Right.
Hulu originals in the US will be Star originals
Here.
internationally.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to get, on launch, we're going to get 4 originals, 447 catalogue films,
Oh, jeez.
and 155 catalogue TV shows. These are all from, again, as I said, the Fox back catalogue, Touchstone Hollywood Pictures, which are both Disney banners, the Disney like sort of banners that they set up to make more adult films in the 80s and 90s. And Nat Geo, National Geographic, some of their stuff's going to go on there. And Hulu back catalogue as well is going to go on there. So as I said, essentially it's the international Hulu.
Have they announced what titles?
Yeah,
they have?
I got a press release of everything.
Oh, God.
I'll read some of them out in a moment.
Wow.
But a lot of these titles actually aren't on Disney Plus or even Hulu overseas. So a lot of the American consumers are getting a little bit annoyed because everyone internationally is getting essentially 600 new titles to their Disney Plus. Disney says in their press release that they sent out to me yesterday, Star brings with it a fresh and ever-growing world of TV series, movies, and originals to customers, practically doubling the amount of content available on Disney Plus. To keep Disney Plus suitable for audiences of all ages and maintain the Disney Plus experience parents expect, new parental controls will also launch, which will include the ability to set limits on access to content for specific profiles based on content classifications and the ability to add a pin to lock profiles with access to mature content, which I think is fantastic. Disney's finally found their way around the system. Give us what we want, which is the adult stuff that you own, which is fucking hundreds of movies from Touchstone.
Yeah.
And like you talk about stuff like what I said before, The Rock, Armageddon, Gone in 60 Seconds. Give it to us. People have been saying, give it. And finally they've gone, you know what? We've finally found a way. We're going to have like these parental controls. You can have it. It's a separate section and kids aren't going to stumble across, Armageddon or The Rock.
Yeah.
Nick Cage going around shooting a bunch of people in the head with a machine gun. So here is just a selection of highlights that are going to be going on Disney Plus Star when it launches internationally. Originals is Love, Victor. This is like a spin-off to the film Love. What was the film called? Love, Simon.
Oh,
The film Love,
yeah.
Simon.
Yep.
They're doing the spin-off series called Love,
wasn't a
Victor.
bad film, that.
Great film. Initially, they were going to be doing. This was going to be a Disney Plus show, but they pulled it from Disney Plus and said it was going to go to Hulu. So now it's going to be a Star thing. So it's probably going to go to Hulu overseas. There's another one called Big Sky, Hellstrom, Solar Opposites. Don't know anything about those, but they're all going to be originals that are dropping on Star first day. Now here's some highlights of the films that are going to be going on Disney Plus Star. I'm not rattling off, almost 600 titles of stuff here.
Look at that.
No, but these are some of the highlights.
We'll be here till next week.
Yeah, exactly right. We're already on 2 hours. These are the highlights that I found anyway that I could pull out. Bear with me. the entire Alien, Predator, Die Hard, and Planet of the Apes franchises, Braveheart, Titanic, Armageddon, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, finally on Disney+. 127 hours, 25th hour, 28 days and weeks later, 500 Days of Summer, 9 to 5, Air Force One, Armageddon, Black Swan, my favourite movie, Behind Enemy Lines, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid,
Oh, love it.
Cinderella Man, Crazy Heart, Dark Water, Dead Poet Society, Edward Scissorhands, Deadpool 1 and 2, adds to the Marvel collection there, Face Off, Father of the Bride 1 and 2, one of my favourites.
Great.
The Favourite, The Fly, the 1986 version with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, that's crap, but it's good.
Crap, but great, yes. French Connection 1 and 2. From Hell, Gone in 60 Seconds, Good Morning Vietnam, Gross Point Blank, The Help, Hidden Figures, High Fidelity, Independence Day, Jingle All the Way, Jojo Rabbit, Judge Dredd, Juno, King Arthur, Kingsman 1 and 2, Little Miss Sunshine, The Martian, Moulin Rouge, Murder on the Orient Express, Office Space, Patton, Pearl Harbor, Pretty Woman, The Proposal, Revenge of the Nerds 2. First one's not there. That might be pushing a bit too much for Disney, I think, the first one.
Sure.
Romy and Michelle, Romancing the Stone, but not Jewel of the Nile for some reason. Terminator Dark Fate, Sixth Sense, Snake Eyes, Starship Trooper, Sweet Home Alabama, Taken 1, 2, and 3. There's Something About Mary, as we were speaking about before, great film. Tombstone, oh, amazing, Kurt Russell film.
Good.
Yeah, we watched that not long ago, brilliant. Walk the Line, Wall Street, Working Girl, and a bunch of Wes Anderson films, including Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Great film.
Darjeeling Limited, Royal Tenenbaums, and
film.
Rushmore.
All good films.
That's just highlights.
That's magnificent.
Yeah.
Some great stuff there.
Now, we own pretty much all of these on
yeah,
disc,
probably not many we don't have.
but this is a fucking fantastic selection of stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
This is a terrific selection of films they're putting out there, and to bulk up your Disney Plus, amazing. Some catalogue TV highlights. I haven't put down as much because not as much TV, but you've got 24, the original series and all the spin-off series are going on, and the revival ones. 8 Simple Rules, according to Jim, Angel, Blackish and Grownish, Bob's Burgers, Bones, Brothers and Sisters, Castle, Family Guy, but only season 18. Cleveland Show, I think maybe seasons 1 to 17 are probably tied up with another streamer, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably what's happened there. Cleveland Show, Cougar Town, Desperate Housewives, Felicity, Fresh Off the Boat, Genius, Glee, Grey's Anatomy, Homeland, Firefly, Hill Street Blues, Last Man Standing, Lie to Me, Life in Pieces, MASH finale, just only the finale of MASH, Good Night and Good Luck, whatever that was
waste
called.
of time.
Don't know why the rest of it's not there. Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, My Name is Earl, New Girl, Prison Break, Rosewood, Scandal, Sleepy Hollow, Ugly Betty, and The X-Files. A lot of stuff.
Got some good stuff there. Brothers and Sisters, that the whole...
The whole lot of it. You can finally finish it.
Yeah.
There you
So I
go.
don't think I've got the last season, maybe?
I think you've missed a bunch of it that went for years.
Yeah, I
reckon
think
you
I've
only
got
saw
most of it.
you only
No,
saw
no,
3
we
seasons.
saw more than that, I
I'm
reckon.
looking. You've only got 3 seasons up there. I reckon...
Oh,
Well, you
really?
got 4. You got 4. I reckon it went for at least 7. I don't know.
Oh, that's not interesting. How long did Brothers and Sisters go
I
for?
think I have it in the press release, but it's not open here. But anyway, that's the highlight. So you're getting a lot of stuff. Again, as they said, this essentially doubles the Disney Plus offering. But there's a kicker. Again, I've said there's no option not to have stuff. 5 seasons. So you only missed 1 season. There you go.
I didn't think I missed much.
Oh, there you go. I stand corrected. So anyway.
We got a bit naff towards the end, didn't we?
Yeah, I only watched 1 season and I was like, that's enough. So, like I said, you've doubled the output of Disney Plus. There is a kicker.
Oh, what's the kicker?
As I said, you've got
pay more.
no option not to have it. You have to
I
have
have to have
it.
it.
You have to have
Yeah.
it. It's inbuilt. It's not a separate service. You can't choose to have Disney Plus with
So they'll just
Star
pay.
or
They
Disney
charge
Plus
you
not
double
Star.
the amount, will they?
It's not double, but you are paying more. So it's $11.99 per month instead of $8.99 per month. So it's $2 up a month.
$3.
$3 up a month, yeah.
You're
Or
never good at math.
no, I'm terrible. Or it's $119 annually instead of $119.99 annually, as opposed to $89.99 annually.
So an extra $30.
Yeah, but you've doubled your content. What do you think? What do you reckon, Karen?
I think it's probably a bit much.
Yeah,
I reckon if make it $10.99 a month,
Yeah.
an extra $2, and that's pretty fair.
what's Netflix? Netflix is like $12 now, isn't it?
In
Was
fact-
that more?
in
$14, I
fact,
reckon.
I think that's just gone up too.
Yeah, it has gone up again. I think it's like $14 or
I think-
$15 now.
I think we were paying. We were paying $13.99 now. It's $15.99.
Something like that. I think it's fine to charge you extra because you've doubled your content. You're essentially getting 2 streaming services in one.
I suppose if you're going to be using it a bit,
yeah,
I suppose $3 is not bad.
But give the consumer a choice.
Yeah, good point.
Give people the option whether they want Disney Plus, just Disney Plus. There might be families out there who've only got it for the kids, and they just want it to be a babysitter for the kids. They don't care about anything else.
Yeah,
they just want Disney Plus, and now they're being charged an extra like $30 a year to have this extra service they might not want.
It's a bit like what Foxtel did a while ago, years ago, when they used to have the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And you could choose whether you had that or not, and then they made it part of a package, and you had to have it if you wanted this other stuff as well.
Yeah. So I think the price is justified because you're getting like 2 streaming services for the price of one.
Yeah, I guess so.
And if you break that down, it's $12 a month. You're paying $6 for Disney Plus. You're paying $6 for Star.
I suppose just when you look at, it was
how much it's jumped.
$89 for a year, and it's gone up to $120. Yeah. Well, that might just tip some people over and go, nah, I'm not paying. But see,
$30. That's why I'm saying here, give the consumer choice to have it or not have it.
Exactly right.
There's obviously a way to just lock it and not have it unlocked or have it locked for certain customers.
Yeah.
It's like pay-per-view on Foxtel. If you want to go to one of the nudie channels, one of the adult channels, you can't view it unless it's unlocked.
Do they still have them?
Don't know.
I don't know if they still
They used to have it where you would go on there, it would be there, and you would have like Netflix $15.99, $16 now.
It used to be $13.99.
Yeah, it's gone up this month.
And as of December, it went up in December to $15.99 from $13.99.
So it's more expensive than this.
So it went up to...
And this Disney is probably offering you more than what Netflix offers you now.
There's no doubt. Netflix has got some great original content.
Yeah. But they're getting stripped of all like the big films now by all the studios who got their own streaming services.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Exactly right.
So why are they jacking their price up again? Netflix, that's a whole other...
COVID tax.
Well, yeah, there you go again. Yeah, for sure. Well, they're trying to cover their ass because they've just lost all the films.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Oh, man.
Keep doing that, they'll lose consumers too.
But yeah, I think the pricing is justified if you're going to use both services and you want it and you're willing to use them and you're going to watch all the old like Fox films and stuff. But if you don't want it, I think it's a bit unfair to
you should have the choice.
You should have the consumer choice.
Yeah, it's a good point. I didn't think about that.
If you have Disney Plus with Star or you don't. Like I was saying, those adult channels on those primitive old Foxtel boxes were able to lock those channels out with a PIN code.
Exactly right.
I'm sure.
And we're going back 25 years ago.
And I'm sure a modern day streaming service in the year 2021 can have a function to lock that to customers who aren't. There's a function on there to lock it from the children. Yeah. There'll be a function to lock it from consumers if you haven't paid for it.
Exactly right.
And if you go to click on it to watch it goes, sorry, you haven't paid for this.
Well, it's like Foxtel. Foxtel, you've got different packages and you can add them on or take them off.
Yeah, exactly right.
So all you got to do is, send them an email or phone them up and say, "Oh, can I have the movie package?" Yeah. And they go, "Yeah, not a problem." They flick a couple of buttons and that's it. Your movies are on almost straight away. So why can't they do it with that as well?
Well, I'm sure there's a way.
They can.
Of course they can.
Of course they can.
Like I said, fantastic. There's a lot of great stuff there. Like, if we didn't have all these movies on Blu-ray, I'd be so excited, but I'm so excited for all those people out there who don't own all these movies. And a lot of this stuff hasn't been on streaming for a long time, so it's fantastic. Like, Moulin Rouge has been a title that people have been demanding to be on streaming service for years and never has. Finally got the chance, so you're going to have Titanic on there and just so many great classics. It's fantastic. I think it's amazing. I don't mind. I'm not going to use Star. I'm not going to use it. Except for the originals.
We probably own everything.
Well, that's what I mean.
Anyway.
It's the same with Disney Plus. We don't watch the films on there. We watch the original stuff. That's what I buy it for. So we'll use Star for the originals and whatever else, and I'll review them and stuff. So I don't mind paying the extra every month, every year, $30 extra a year. It is a lot.
There's a lot of people who live on a budget.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing.
And you're right. Make it a choice. If you can afford to have it. If you can't afford, just don't allow it. Just don't pay for it. I remember years ago that we used to go and hire videos on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. And that was purely and simply because we were on a budget.
Yeah.
And our we couldn't afford to go to the movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we budgeted the money, and on a Friday night, we'd go and we'd hire a couple of new films, and 5 weeklies.
Yeah.
And that was our entertainment for the week, apart from free-to-air TV. I don't even know if we had Foxtel or anything at the time.
Don't know.
I can't remember.
I think we did at one point. We had Foxtel on and off for a bit.
Yeah.
I remember.
So that was, and there's people there out there that they're going to go, you know what, that extra $30 a year, I can't afford that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Make it a choice.
I think it should be a choice. But anyway, it's exciting, and a lot of people are going to be very, very, very excited about that. I briefly want to touch on this. HBO Max, obviously Disney Plus have all their big blockbuster Marvel shows and stuff coming on. It's been talked about in the trades and stuff for like a few weeks, maybe a couple of months now, that the streamers are really heading towards wanting to prioritize like blockbuster franchise movies and TV series to kind of, I guess, compete now with what Disney's doing and Warner Brothers doing. Warner Brothers coming out, they're doing like a Suicide Squad series with the Peacemaker. They're doing a couple of Batman series going to spin out of the new films. We got a new Game of Thrones series coming out there. It's going to be a lot of like franchise stuff as opposed to like boutique or sort of what they call prestige titles, just new scripted dramas and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of franchise shit coming out now. Warner Brothers has apparently got a live-action Harry Potter series headed for development.
Do we need it?
I don't think so.
Mind you, I haven't seen all the Harry Potter films.
I don't know. I don't think we need it. It's apparently going to be expanding the world of Harry Potter, which remains a top priority for HBO Max and Warner Brothers, who, along with creator J.K. Rowling, control the rights to the property. This is what the Hollywood Reporter says. Harry Potter is one of Warner's most valuable pieces of IP. So they're obviously going to want to make this their big one of their big franchise shows. J.K. Rowling has been in a lot of controversy recently. A lot of the Harry Potter fandom has kind of walked away or turned their back on J.K. As the Hollywood Reporter says, she'd sparked backlash from the trans community after saying that transgender individuals should be defined by their biological sex. Very controversial. She's been saying a lot of controversial stuff on social media, and has put a damper on like the Fantastic Beasts franchise and stuff, which, by the way, are shit films. First one was okay. Second was dreadful. I don't want more Harry Potter.
No.
I don't need it.
There are probably people out there that do want it.
I'm sure there are.
One of your school friends from Danny.
Yeah.
She
loved it.
She loved it.
She'll
love it.
Yeah. I've got another friend, really good friend, Brendan, who is a huge Harry Potter fan, but has kind of turned his back a little bit because of what J.K. Rowling's been saying and stuff. And I know there's a lot of fans that are going to be like that too. So I feel like it's one of those fandoms now that's a bit divided. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people actually want this and how many people don't want it.
It's a bit Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they've got to be careful with it and how much they push this franchise now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I don't know. It's going to focus on the main characters, which is going to be like an expansion of the universe like Fantastic Beasts. Who knows? It could be good. Could be great. Could be great.
Could be.
I like Harry Potter. I enjoy the movies. I feel like I don't need it, but I'm sure there's probably a lot of people out there who do really want it.
Yeah, I'm not fussed.
You're not fussed either way. We'll briefly touch on this before we kind of get on, like start wrapping it up. Australian cinemas obviously reopening because of COVID, and everything's kind of really sort of over for now. They're saying we've eradicated it, whatever. So everything's open, as we said at the beginning of the show. Australian cinemas are open, like back open. There's been a massive marketing kick behind releasing local films to get audiences back into the cinema. So Screen Australia is behind this, like our big government funding board behind making films and stuff. They're releasing a film called Penguin Bloom, one called High Ground, and one called Firestarter. This is kind of over the summer. They're releasing these stagnant over the summer to get people back into cinemas with some good Aussie content for summer. The first film that they pushed out was one called The Dry. This stars Eric Bana. You've probably seen it advertised all over. We haven't seen it yet. Apparently a terrific film.
Really?
Apparently, absolutely
I
terrific.
haven't seen him do much for a long time.
He hasn't done anything for ages. I think he's like some sort of semi-retired, or he's just picky with the stuff he takes on. Apparently, a very, very, very good movie. What's the rating there?
7.7.
7.7. Yeah. They reckon it'll get a sequel. Filming.com.au reported, following its opening weekend, The Dry reached an impressive $3.2 million, and for the second weekend in a row was number one at the local box office, overtaking competition from blockbuster Wonder Woman 1984 and family animation The Croods: A New Age. The film has crossed the $10 million mark this week as audiences return to cinemas around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is
That's
that?
good.
Yeah. And I'm sure I didn't copy and paste it into here, but it's one of the biggest openings of an Australian film of all time.
Oh, really?
One of. It's not like at the top,
Yeah,
but it is
yeah.
one of them. Minister for Communications.
Hasn't been too many good ones.
There's been some, but
but
compared to how many bad ones there are, yeah.
exactly right.
Minister for Minister for Communications, Cybersecurity, and the Arts.
That's a portfolio, isn't it?
This is how much our government just doesn't give a
God.
shit about the arts. They've given it to the guy behind communications and cybersecurity. Right? Minister for Communications, cyber safety, same thing, and the arts, the Honourable Paul Fletcher MP said, the success of The Dry shows that the interest in local content is stronger than ever before. We look forward to supporting more local screen jobs and celebrating Australian stories during the recovery from COVID-19 and beyond. So there you go. That's a nice little diamond in the rough there, that little story.
I want to see that.
It's nice to hear Australian cinema doing well as well.
That's got a good premise too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see it? Where can I see it?
It's open in cinemas right now.
Oh, is it?
We can go and see it in the cinema.
Oh,
Yep, there you go. Haven't been back yet. We've been I say busy, but I've been a little busy the last week or so. I've been getting back into work slowly. Actually, full speed this last couple of weeks. I'm back into it.
Yep.
But yeah, it looks really good. We aren't going to the cinemas next week, though, to see
Yeah, that's
The
right.
Little Things with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek. That's a Warner Brothers film being distributed here by Universal, who are the new distributors of Warner Films in Australia after Warner's split with Village Roadshow. So I'm very excited to check that one out and review it. So yeah, that's some good Aussie films coming out for the rest of the summer. Go and check them out. Penguin Bloom, I believe, is out now and it's on Netflix in America. So if you're in America, it's got Naomi Watts. It's got a magpie named Penguin. It's a true story, and apparently that's quite good too. So there you go. And High Ground is apparently amazing. Really good.
It's got a 6.
Penguin Bloom, yeah. Nice little family film. We were going to take a look at a few trailers that have just come out, but I feel like we're really pushing it now. So I think we'll skip over them. I was just going to say Godzilla v. Kong is coming out. It's huge. Everyone's been going on about it online. Everyone's been debating. Godzilla, who's going to win, Godzilla or Kong? What would you say? Who you reckon?
Godzilla.
I would say Kong.
Oh, I'll say Godzilla.
I'll say Kong. I love Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll
I'm saying Godzilla.
We'll knock that in for whenever the film comes out,
yep.
which is very soon. I'm going Kong. He's apparently grown like 3 times since the last movie.
Oh, has he?
He's huge,
Oh,
like a giant.
different then.
He's the same size as Godzilla now. So anyway, that movie looks...
Does Godzilla breathe fire?
I think so. I don't know. There's also Mecha Godzilla's going to be in this one. There's the robot one. So anyway, we were going to look at the trailer and sort of like react to what we thought about it, but we've seen the other movies and I think it's going to be about the same. Yeah, we'll look at that next week. Raya and the Last Dragon did a trailer this week as well. It looks really great. It's the new Disney animated film. I did a breakdown of the trailer on my YouTube if you want to go and check that one out.
Doesn't sound like my sort of thing.
I think you might enjoy it. It's like an action-adventure, like animated thing.
Dragons.
Oh, yeah, you don't really like fantasy stuff. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what you think about that. I'm keen to know your thoughts. We'll take a look at that maybe next week. And Disney Plus dropped the trailer for Mighty Ducks Game Changers today. It's a new series. It's got Emilio Estevez is back as Coach Gordon Bombay.
Does it?
Yeah. And
Is
Lauren
that the
Graham.
first thing he's done since the last?
Oh,
Mighty
jeez,
Ducks?
I don't know what he's been in. That's out Friday 26th of March. That one is out. There's been a Space Jam. They haven't released a Space Jam trailer yet. They released 1.7 seconds of footage, which I did a breakdown video on and got like 30,000 views.
That's nuts.
People love Space Jam, man. I will pump out as many Space Jam videos as I can. I broke down 1.7 seconds of footage in like a 6-minute video. It was a lot of fun. I love doing that one. And 30,000 views is quite good. Look, let's do some subscriber questions because we're really, really, really pushing the runtime now. We'll get through a few of these and we'll like trying to maybe speed round this and get the show over because I am really... 2 hours is okay, but I really feel cautious about pushing it even further.
Exactly right.
All right, so let's go.
All right, first question. Samuel Williams. What
Yes.
are your favourite movies and who are your favourite directors?
Well, I feel like I get this a lot, but I've included this because there's a lot of new listeners out there.
Okay.
I want to get to know me a little bit more. Some of my favourite movies of all time include some of these behind us, like Casablanca. I love Star Wars, the original Star Wars, 1977, one of my favourite films of all time. The Wizard of Oz is probably my favourite, like number one favourite movie of all time. Stuff like Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Pulp Fiction, The Shining, movies like that. I just love. Black Swan is my favorite film of the last 10 years. Favorite directors, I'd have to say Steven Spielberg is number one for me. He's just made so many like just nostalgic films, and now going back as an adult, an almost 30-year-old man, going back to watch these Spielberg films, I love them.
Yeah.
And it's like going back and revisiting his films, I've realized how much I've loved his films and how much his films have shaped my love of cinema over the years. Like I go to when I went to university, the lecturers there hated Spielberg. It was like, no, you don't like Spielberg movies because it's just too, blockbusters and all this.
Too commercial.
Not prestige, too commercial.
Yeah.
So you kind of follow what your lecturers do and tell you what you're not allowed to like. I don't feel like I was like that where I like what I want to like, but there are a lot of people who would get turned off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't like Spielberg because of people like that in the industry.
Yep.
But going back to these films, I just love them. So he's my favorite director, but then you go back like Frank Capra and John Ford, classic directors, Alfred Hitchcock, and then
Jon Favreau, probably.
Jon Favreau, I love like Iron Man and stuff, and Elf. And I really liked his Lion King. I know it's hard to say because a lot of people don't like it out there. Controversial to say, I should say. Probably, I was going to say Quentin Tarantino as well, and Taika Waititi.
Taika's fantastic.
It's so much for a speed round, but there you go. What about you?
Yeah, there you go.
Give your favourite movie, maybe favourite director.
Favourite movie would be there's three. Apocalypse Now.
Oh yeah, that's one.
Love
of mine
Apocalypse
too.
Now.
Yep.
Amadeus.
Yep, brilliant.
All-time favourite films, and Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah, that's one of mine as well. Great.
So those three there.
Yeah. Baz Luhrmann's a favourite filmmaker of mine actually as well.
Yeah. Director, I don't really have a favourite director. But Taika, I love Taika.
You like Quentin Tarantino?
Just about anything he does.
You'll watch anything Tarantino does.
I'll watch anything.
Clint Eastwood.
The only thing I haven't watched of his is Kill Bill.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either. I saw the first one, didn't watch the second. Oh, I haven't watched the Death Proof film either.
Yeah.
So I've got to watch them.
So probably Taika and Tarantino. Some of the old Hitchcock stuff I enjoy. So yes, there's a few there.
There you go. All right, next one. Let's speed it.
Maya Cordero and Ethan Kaufman.
Two people asked the same question. Yep.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yep.
Have you ever wanted to do content other than reviews, and have you?
Yes, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yep.
It's funny because I have different people who obviously follow me for different content, and they only watch that content and then don't pay much attention to the other stuff. So it's like my cartoon evolution videos for the new listeners. They're like documentaries I make about cartoon characters. Most people come and they watch that and they don't know I do reviews and stuff like that. People who are there just for the reviews don't know I do any of the other stuff, which is funny. But I do a whole breadth of stuff. So,
and you used to do some vlogging and stuff like that.
I used to do
well.
vlogging and stuff. I do Blu-ray. I like to support physical media,
Blu-ray
and
hauls
particularly the local industry and stuff.
Yep.
So I always do those Blu-ray hauls and stuff as well. So there's a lot of with the content.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen content other than what you've just get on the channel.
Yeah, have a look around.
Have a bit of a snoop.
Yeah.
BCNA Sanderson.
Yep.
How many cartoon evolution videos have you planned for this year?
Oh, I've got the standard amount, which is 11 evolution videos this year.
Didn't really do one just January.
I don't do one January because there's crap pay. So there's 11 a year. Actually, last year there was 12 because I did one.
And you need a break. You need a break at some point.
I need a break, yeah. So I've got to take that break off for January. And I'm not going to put heaps of work into a video that just gets buried and doesn't perform well. So that's the January one. Yeah, but this year evolution video is going to be a bit different. I'm not going to announce too much, but they're not all going to be cartoon characters this year. We're going to push it a little bit more this year and just hopefully, yeah.
If certain things don't get pushed
there's
back
one
further.
I want to really do, but it relies on a certain movie coming out and it keeps getting pushed back. So we'll see.
And a couple of Patreons know what they are.
Yeah, the patrons know. Yeah, the patrons know.
Of them do.
Patrons know my whole slate for the year. How good's that? If you want to,
3 of them.
Yeah, three.
There's
Only
only
three of them.
the
The
three of
three
them.
that joined me for the live chat, the Patreon exclusive live chat, they all know my entire.
About that.
Yeah, it's great.
Nathan Fontaine.
Yep.
Fontine.
I've always assumed it's Fontaine.
Fontaine. Sorry, Nathan.
Oh, apologies, Nathan. He's a long-time follower.
Yeah. What's a franchise or filmography you'd like to see covered in a Taschen archives book?
Now, the Taschen books are those massive ones, those
the
extra
big
large
ones.
on like the Star. We've got the Star Wars on the Disney ones. I'd love to see like a in-depth like thing on bloody Back to the Future. Nothing's really been done about it. I think that'd be amazing.
Geez, that'd be good.
How good would that be? I would
Yeah,
write
that
it.
would-
I will write it. Taschen, I will write it for you.
God, they'll hold you to it.
Yeah. I think that'd be fantastic.
Cool. Okay, Pamela Mays.
Or anything like Spielberg, like a book on Spielberg films. That'd be great.
Oh.
Yep.
Pamela Mays, do you think Disney will continue to release new movies on Disney Plus? Also, what's your opinion on Disney films being released via premium streaming? I'm sure that many Disney Plus subscribers are unable to afford the $30 price tag at this time.
Yeah. Well, we kind of went over this a little bit, I suppose. I think what she is saying is, do you think Disney will like dump new release films on Disney Plus, ones that are supposed to be going to cinemas, as opposed to exclusive Disney Plus movies, TV films? I think there will be a few, particularly like maybe Cruella and stuff like that. Maybe some of the animated ones. I think they'll wind up on Disney Plus instead of cinemas, or maybe with a split release. And what was the second part of the question? What's your opinion
on films that are released via premium streaming?
I think it's fine, but I do think again there's that people should have the option to see it either on the streamer or in cinemas.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with them putting a price on the premium release, because you're going to go to cinema and pay that price anyway.
Yep.
I know it's a whole can of worms we've talked about in the past.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, Big Sully.
Yep.
2001. What is a cartoon that you'll never get sick of watching?
Simpsons. Absolutely. I'm rewatching it all at the moment as I'm working. I've got on a second screen
Family
over here.
Guy.
Family Guy as well, yeah.
Oh, Family Guy.
Yeah.
Never get enough of that.
Yeah.
Test No Pesto.
Test No Pesto.
What a great name. Test No Pesto.
Yeah.
What a great name, buddy.
Yeah.
Is it possible that The Simpsons became kind of lame because it needed to fit Disney's kid-friendly zone before they'll actually buy Fox? What Disney interested in...
Was.
God. We've been on too long.
Yeah,
was Disney interested in The Simpsons before the actual transaction?
I'd say no, because the Simpsons have been lame for like 15 years now. Plus,
You said that forever, like
I've
from
been
about
saying this for
16,
years.
15, it just went down.
Season 10
Was that
like,
where they had writing change of writers?
No, it was
or
around
something?
season 10. Like season 8, 9, they lost a lot of writers and they got new team on. And I think the series is really fantastic up until season 10. Like that was the height. Season 11 and 12 I liked, but I feel like maybe because I was still a kid at the time and it was just I was enjoying the new eps. 13, 14, 15 is where it really started diving off the deep end, and it's been just dreadful since then. So I don't think any kind of shift in The Simpsons coincided with Disney buying Fox. As for was Disney interested in The Simpsons, I would say absolutely. I would say that's one of the factors of them buying Fox. Like one of many, many factors was that they get The Simpsons, and they really pushed The Simpsons hard when Disney Plus first launched, like all 30 seasons of The Simpsons on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But it's funny that I realise now, I've said this for a few years as well, there's more bad episodes of The Simpsons than good ones. So it's no longer a good show. The Simpsons is a bad show that was good at the beginning.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
There's people out there that'll disagree with you.
I agree, and that's fine.
That's fine, they're meant to. Mr. Josh.
I mean, it's still on. People are obviously still watching it.
Oh, exactly right.
Yeah.
Mr. Josh, any tips on organising or making space for Blu-rays?
It's a tough thing. We're always going through it. Just reorganise how you can. We have got the IKEA cabinets. What are they? The Billy cabinets.
Yep.
We only just realised last year that you can double lay your discs in there.
Yep.
So they will fit 2 layers of the disc. It's not preferable. I know a lot of people think it's sacrilege to cover up a bunch of films, but if you don't have the space, that's your best option, and that has doubled our space out there, and we've got heaps of space for movies now because I doubled everything up.
Thank Christ.
Yeah.
So that's about the only thing, really.
Yeah. And the tip you can do.
Yeah, but the IKEA Billy
Yeah.
are perfect
Yeah.
for Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Perfect. Any chance of getting? Oh, Charlie Palmer.
Yep.
Any chance of getting some more DVD, Blu-ray collection videos, such as documentaries? You tease them in old videos occasionally, and I wondered what happened to that series.
That series doesn't really perform that well. DVD, Blu-ray collection. I do one a month, which does fairly well because I'm more focused now on talking about new releases that are coming out and new stuff that I've picked up, as opposed to going over my old collection. And going back over my old collection doesn't really tend to perform that well. So I kind of stopped doing that. As far as documentaries, I don't know if there'd be like much views in that, or I don't know, maybe one day. But really, I'm just focusing on like one a month, which is focusing on new release titles and stuff that I've recently picked up more so than anything else.
Johnny Marrero.
Yep.
What new Nickelodeon revivals and or spin-offs content would you want to see for Paramount Plus with the Viacom's investors call happening in February?
Okay, so Viacom's obviously got a investor call, which is where they'll announce a bunch of new stuff to investors.
Yep.
I would say my favourite Nickelodeon shows, ones I grew up with, Rugrats, that's already getting a revival, Real Monsters, Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life. Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life recently had a revival. They did like 2 tele movies for them. They weren't great. So I said I would say if they revive them, do it properly, do like a really good series. But I think Rocko's Modern Life and Hey Arnold particularly, I think would do really well. Maybe like a Nickelodeon universe, bring all the characters together. They're bloody great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Couple
of quick ones, yep.
AP Stevens, how would you reboot the X-Men in the MCU?
It's tough. I think the easiest way for them is they're going to just pull them through a portal from another dimension. We're doing the whole multiverse thing. I think that's probably going to do.
Doctor Strange will fix that for them.
We'll pull them through. Or I think there's one theory coming out of WandaVision is that Wanda will create mutants. So there's a comic run where Wanda wants to wipe out all the mutants on the planet. They think they're going to like do what's it called? Where they like flip it. Subvert the expectations, subvert the plot, and she's going to create mutants, and then that's how we get the X-Men.
Cool.
Who knows? We'll see.
Last one. Rena Rogue 2345 and Animaniacs Girl 93.
Yep.
What is your favourite episode of the Animaniacs?
I love the pilot episode. It's like the history of the Animaniacs, and it sort of shows how they were created, like in the 20s or the 40s or whatever it was, and you've got the 1940s it was, and you've got the old Warner Brothers animators in there as characters, and you see them animating them, and you've got like Bugs, but I think that's so much fun. You see them interacting with like Tex Avery and or like Chuck Jones and all those guys. Like a really cool episode. I think it's great. That's like the whole premise behind that show hinges on that first episode, which is absolutely terrific.
Yeah, cool. There's just
What?
I was going to say there's just one thing before we go on to mention.
What's that?
We didn't really mention it in the opener.
Yeah.
Was during the break you did a live stream.
Yeah.
Right, you did a live stream.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
That was it was just over an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did an hour.
Just a quick an hour.
An hour 15.
But after that, you had a
Patreon
exclusive hangout.
Yeah.
And that you were on there for what? Nearly 2 hours.
It was 2 or 3 hours.
We were nearly on that for.
Yeah.
And there was only the 3 guys involved
people
in
joined.
that.
Yeah.
And I think they got a bit out of it. And you got a lot out of it too, which was good. So keep your eyes out. Keep your eyes open. More of those will happen. And if you're a Patreon, you'll get to get invited to them and drop in and have one-on-one chats and everything. It was good fun.
I had like 40-odd patrons or 30-something odd patrons. And 3 showed up for the live chat.
Yeah.
They invited everyone. Everyone could come along, but 3 turned up, which I was very, very appreciative of. And it was awesome. I just talked to them about getting feedback and stuff, and then just having around like general chat and all that stuff. And it's one thing I really want to push this year is community outreach and just kind of building external factors outside of YouTube and the podcast, and really doing some stuff with the patron and ways that I can involve patron supporters out there or viewers and listeners who want to jump on and have a chat on a live chat and give some feedback and all that kind of stuff. But just a lot of things I want to get people involved in, but I'll be doing lots of them. Yeah. And what I also want to do is get patrons involved in the podcast as well.
Yeah, that's right. I was just about to mention that.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. Just had to have maybe 2 or 3 every now and then, have a couple of Patreons on the podcast and via Zoom or whatever other service you use. I think that'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
That'll be a good way to...
So if you want to be involved in all that kind of stuff, hit me up on Patreon.
That's right.
I haven't fully decided yet, but I think I'm going to start doing proper tiering on...
Yeah,
not
not
profiteering. Not profiteering, proper tiering. Because currently my tier system is like you pay whatever and every amount you get exactly the same. But I feel like for the higher tiers now, I actually want those people to get a little bit more out of it, which is going to be stuff like being more involved in other things like that.
And in fact, out of that discussion, there's been a couple of things come out that, Dave will sort of look at sort of doing this year and implementing and stuff like that as well.
It's exciting.
So that was really
very
good.
helpful.
It's very good.
And thank you to all the guys who showed up for that. We had Blake on there, we had James, we had Jeff.
That's right.
Jeff B.
Yeah.
He's been there actually all these guys have been on there for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, exactly right.
You got Blake and Jeff from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
And James very early on as well too.
Yep.
So it was wonderful to finally meet all those guys. Did the Zoom chat and all that. So if you want to get involved in that kind of stuff, jump on the Patreon.
So we're hoping to do probably one of those a month or every couple, or maybe every 2 months or something like that.
What we're also talking about doing watch parties.
Yes, that's right.
Watch parties with
and that'll be for Patreons as well. But whether they'll be part of a tiered sort of system or not,
not too sure yet, but we will. I think I do want opportunities like that for the lower tiers as well, because I understand there's some people may only be able to.
Well, exactly right.
Yeah, so
maybe watch parties or something can be open to everybody, but discussions will be open to a certain tier and above. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But that's something you got to nut out anyway.
Yeah. But for now,
sorry, I just thought I'd mention that.
No, that's good. I was going to mention it. I forgot to put it in there, but there we go. Oh, I'm exhausted. This is the longest show I've ever done, I promise.
I'm going to have a nap after this.
I promise this is the last, well, not last ever, but they're not always 2.5 hour long shows. I've been off for 5 weeks. There's been a lot of stuff to catch up on and talk about. So thanks for sticking in there. I know a lot of people kind of listen to these over numerous car trips or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm kind of always really worried about making them too long. But the vast majority of the feedback is make them as long as you want. Just don't make them forced and feel like you've got to cut them off at a certain point. So we went to 2.5 hours today, but that's not the norm. It's usually 1.5 to 2 hours long. That is all the time we have for today, though. Of course, podcasts go out every single Monday on all podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible. The visual element also goes out on YouTube at the same time, but it goes to patrons. Patron supporters 2 days earlier. If you want to support me on Patreon, head to patreon.com/Dave Lee Down Under. You can find me on YouTube at Dave Lee Down Under, over on Twitter, Instagram as well. Links in the description of every podcast. You can click through and you'll be there. If you want to write into the show, you can shoot an email to daveleepod@gmail.com. If you've got anything to tell me, just write in. If you are listening on podcasting platforms, please leave a review. Good ones.
Only good ones. Because we'll delete the bad one.
Can't delete them. I wouldn't do it, but maybe I would. But it does help if you leave a review and a rating. Again, head to my YouTube to enter the competition, sponsored by MadMan Entertainment here in Australia. You can win a copy of Jiu-Jitsu and Savage.
They're for Australian
only. Australian only.
And that's enforced by the...
That is enforced by the distributor. I can't send out of the country distribution agreements and stuff like that. I don't really have anything huge coming up this week on the channel. I have been doing a lot of work. I've produced a lot of content over the last couple of weeks. I have got 2 film preview videos coming out. I've got the animated film preview 2021. I think that's next week. The Disney preview 2021 will be the week after. They're done and dusted, although they are pending any kind of delays that are happening in the next 2 weeks. So I might have to make a quick... I've done 2 edits to those already because of these delays. But they'll be out over the next couple of weeks. I've also done my next 3 Pixar ranking videos, but I don't think the first of those will be up until March. So just keep an eye out for them. They're done. They're just going to give me a bit of breathing space over the next few months to be able to focus on other stuff and not feel overloaded, which I think is good. I feel like I'm ahead of the game.
Well, you're going to have to. You've got a big... evolution coming up.
I've got a huge evolution coming up in March. I'm not going to tell you what it is. The patrons know. But this month, as far as cartoon evolutions go, I'm going to reveal it right now. I don't think it's been announced yet anywhere else, but other than patrons, I'm going to be doing Tom and Jerry's Spike and Tyke. The two bulldogs, the side characters. A lot of people have been requesting it over the years. The Tom and Jerry movie is coming out, so it's the best time to do it. That's going to be a Cartoon Evolution short. I'm working on that right now, and that will launch towards the end of the month. As far as this week, again, there's not going to be any big videos this week. Maybe just some cartoon news here and there, but that's going to be about it. Next week is really when we're going to start kicking into the big content once again. I have just launched a bunch of cartoon news. I put up the Horse Collar and Clarabelle Cow voice evolutions, Disney voice evolutions. You can check them out. Ones people have been bugging me to do for ages. So they're up. You can check them out. But that's about it. Other than that, thanks for listening, or thanks for watching out there. Thank you to old mate Rick for joining me.
Thank you, Dave.
I don't know what's doing with the show next week. I don't know if I've got anything special planned or anything, but we'll find out.
If I'm here, I'm here.
We'll leave it a special. Thank you for joining me again, and we'll
take care, guys.
Take it easy.